Su Wanxiu said softly. Go wait in the courtyard. I'll change. All right. Yang Luo nodded and stepped out. A few minutes later, Su Wanxiu emerged again, back in her Cheongsam, a small bag in hand. Little Luo, let's go. They left the courtyard and reached the tea house entrance. A royal blue Bentley Mulsanne was parked outside, and a female chauffeur in a fitted suit stood by the driver's door, already waiting. Once they got in, the car pulled away. On the road, Yang Luo asked, Sister Wanxiu, where's the auction being held? Yunshang Clubhouse. Yang Luo nodded, then asked again, where are they auctioning today? Usually it's jade jewelry, antiques, calligraphy, and paintings, plus some rare medicinal herbs. Su Wanxiu patted her bag. I have the auction booklet. Take a look. If there's anything you like, tell me. She handed him the booklet. Yang Luo flipped through it. Just like she said, most items were jade pieces, jewelry, old calligraphy, and paintings, along with a long list of pricey herbs. None of it caught his interest until two entries. One was a 200-year-old ginseng. The other was a purple, ginseng-like herb labeled sage herb. That purple root looked familiar. Too familiar. Yang Luo's gaze sharpened slightly. Could it be the last ingredient he needed to refine the spirit-gathering pill, the purple dragon root? He couldn't be sure from a picture alone. He'd have to see it in person at the auction. But if it really was purple dragon root, he couldn't let it slip away. Su Wanxiu leaned closer. See anything you like? Yeah. Yang Luo nodded. Su Wanxiu's eyes lit up. Good. Later, if you want something, just say the word. I'll bid for you. Yang Luo raised a hand quickly. Sister Wanxiu, let's be clear. You can help me bid for one item. I can handle the rest myself. How can I do that? She said, amused. If you like it, I'll bid. Yang Luo sighed. If you keep doing that, I won't even dare to come to the auction. Su Wanxiu rolled her eyes at him, half teasing, half indulgent. Fine, fine. One item only. After more than half an hour, they arrived at Yunshang Clubhouse. The entrance looked like a luxury car showroom. Rows of expensive vehicles lined the front, making it obvious who usually attended auctions here. They got out, and Yang Luo followed Su Wanxiu inside. Since the auction hadn't started yet, guests were relaxing in the lounge area, chatting in small groups. They found a seat and sat down. Su Wanxiu casually brought up, How are things with Qingmei lately? Pretty good, Yang Luo said with a shrug. Su Wanxiu sighed. I really don't know what father was thinking, insisting you two get engaged so quickly. Qingmei is grateful because you saved her grandfather, but accepting an engagement takes time. She's never been in a relationship before. She doesn't understand these things yet. She paused, then added more gently, Feelings can't be forced. If you two can truly end up together, that would be the best outcome. I know, Yang Luo said. That's why I'll give her time. If she still can't accept me in the future, I'll call off the engagement. Su Wanxiu studied him, her eyes calm but probing. Honestly, I'm curious. Why did you agree to the engagement? Is it just because Qingmei is beautiful and she's the Su family's eldest daughter? Yang Luo met her gaze without flinching. Those are part of it, but there are other reasons too. It's not something I can explain right now. Qingmei will understand later. Su Wanxiu was about to press him when a smooth voice cut in from the side. Beauty, can we get to know each other? They turned. A small group had walked over. Leading them was a handsome young man in a black casual suit, wearing an easy smile like he owned the room. Su Wanxiu frowned slightly. Who are you? The young man smiled wider. Let me introduce myself. I'm Qiao Yongjie. My father is Qiao Jinsong, the owner of Zhongyi Martial Arts School. Yang Luo's eyes narrowed a little. So that was it. An acquired realm martial warrior and the dojo master's son. Su Wanxiu nodded, polite but distant. So you're home, Master Qiao's son. What can I do for you, young Master Qiao? Qiao Yongjie's tone turned confident, almost theatrical. I like you the moment I saw you. Love at first sight, you could say. I want you to be my girlfriend. Su Wanxiu actually laughed. That laugh hit Qiao Yongjie like a punch. His eyes widened, his heartbeat visibly picking up. Even the men behind him stared, briefly stunned. Around the lounge, plenty of people recognized Su Wanxiu. Most didn't dare approach her, but they were watching closely now, eager to see how this would end. Su Wanxiu smiled, amused. Young Master Qiao, I'm much older than you. Let's forget it. I like older women, Xiao Yongjia replied smoothly. More charm. What's the problem? Su Wanqiu calmly tucked her hair behind her ear. Then I'll have to disappoint you again. I already have a boyfriend. You have a boyfriend? Xiao Yongjia's smile dropped. His face darkened as he pointed at Yang Luo. You mean him? That's right. Su Wanqiu nodded and shot Yang Luo a quick look from the corner of her eye. Yang Luo froze for a split second, then understood immediately. Shield. She wanted him to play the role. The lounge erupted into quiet disbelief. Su Wanqiu had rejected confessions for years. People had always assumed she was alone. And now she suddenly had a boyfriend? Everyone's eyes shifted to Yang Luo. Then many of them frowned. Plain clothes. Ordinary presence. This guy was Su Wanqiu's boyfriend? Yang Luo stood up and gave Xiao Yongjia a mild, harmless smile. Young Master Xiao, sorry. She's my girlfriend. If you want a girlfriend, you should look elsewhere. Xiao Yongjia looked him up and down. The cheap black cotton shirt was enough to make contempt flash across his eyes. He narrowed his eyes, voice turning sharp. Kid, what's your name? Which family are you from? Yang Luo didn't even bother acting intimidated. Yang Luo, I'm not some young master. I'm a doctor. A doctor? Xiao Yongjia burst out laughing. Perfect. Then listen carefully. I've taken a liking to your girlfriend. From today on, stay away from her. Yang Luo looked at him like he'd just heard a joke. Why would I? She's my girlfriend. If anyone should back off, it's you. Before Xiao Yongjia could answer, a young woman beside him cut in with a cold sneer. Kid, what do you have to compete with Brother Qiao? She stepped forward, chin raised, eyes full of arrogance. Brother Qiao is the young master of Zhongyi Martial Arts School, one of the 3 top martial arts schools in Jiang City. He's already a perfected acquired realm at his age. In the younger generation here, apart from Hong Zikai, no one is his match. Her gaze raked over Yang Luo like he was dirt. It's your honor that Brother Qiao even noticed your girlfriend. If you know what's good for you, get lost. Yang Luo glanced at her, expression flat. She was pretty sure, but that smug look on her face made her instantly unbearable. And you are? He asked. What does this have to do with you? She lifted her chin even higher, proud of her own name. Listen well. I'm Chen Rongrong. My father is Chun Qing Shan, the owner of True Martial Dojo, also one of the top 3 martial arts schools in Jiang City. Xiao Yongjia waved lazily. Rongrong, don't waste your breath. He's just a little doctor. What would he know about the martial arts world? Then he turned back to Yang Luo with a smile that carried zero warmth. Kid, name your price. How much will it take for you to leave this beauty? Hurry up, Chen Rongrong added smug. Brother Qiao isn't short on money. Yang Luo's tone stayed calm, but his eyes were steady. Maybe for you, feelings have a price tag. For me, they don't. Then he turned to Su Wanqiu, voice softer on purpose. Wanqiu, am I wrong? As he spoke, he reached out and took her hand. Su Wanqiu's body stiffened. Instinctively, she wanted to pull away. But in front of everyone, with Xiao Yongjia pushing, she forced herself to cooperate. She smiled and said lightly, Little Luo is right. That single line lit a fuse. Xiao Yongjia's expression twisted with anger as he stared at their joined hands. Kid, he said through clenched teeth, I'll give you one last chance. Leave her. Now. His voice dropped, threatening. Don't test my patience. You won't be able to handle the consequences. Chen Rongrong folded her arms, scolding like she owned the place. Did you hear him? Get lost. If you really make Brother Qiao angry, no one will save you. Yang Luo looked back at them, completely unbothered. And what if I don't? Xiao Yongjia's eyes turned icy. Then you're asking to die. I can crush trash like you with one finger. Yang Luo sneered. Really? Then I'd love to see you try. Xiao Yongjia's temper snapped. He was about to step forward. But right then, a hostess approached, smiling professionally. Ladies and gentlemen, the auction is about to begin. Please proceed to the second floor. The lounge immediately stirred. Guests stood, straightened their clothes, and began moving upstairs. Xiao Yongjia tugged at his collar, still glaring. Lucky you. I'll let you off this time. After the auction, I'll teach you a lesson. Chen Rongrong smirked. You're dead meat for offending Brother Qiao. With that, they turned and left with their group, heading upstairs. Once they were gone, Su Wanqiu finally spoke, a little annoyed now. "Little Luo, everyone's already left. How long are you planning to take advantage of me?" Yang Luo released her hand and grinned. "Sister Wanqiu, you're the one who called me your boyfriend. If I'm your boyfriend, how is holding your hand taking advantage?" "We were acting," Su Wanqiu said, displeased. "Don't take it so seriously." She stood, smoothed her cheongsam, and said, "Come on. The auction's starting." Yang Luo followed her to the second floor. They found their seats and sat down. Soon, a striking female auctioneer walked onto the stage. "Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today's auction. The rules are the same as always. Highest bidder wins. I hope you all leave with what you came for." She smiled. "All right, let's begin. Please bring out the first item." A female attendant in a white cheongsam walked up carrying a tray. The auctioneer lifted the red cloth, revealing a palm-sized jade piece carved with a dragon pattern. It was made from Hatian's suet jade, smooth and lustrous, with a warm, delicate texture. On both sides, cloud dragons were carved in a looping pattern, heads and tails linked, like they were swimming through mist. Yang Luo felt it immediately. The spiritual energy inside the jade was rich. If he bought it and inscribed a talisman on it, it could serve as a stabilizer for fortune at home. He leaned towards Su Wanqiu. "Sister Wanqiu, help me bid for this jade." "Sure," she agreed easily. "Just call the price. I'll pay." On stage, the auctioneer continued the introduction, then announced, "Starting price for this Western Han dragon pattern jade, 5 million yuan. Each increase must be no less than 300,000. The room immediately came alive. 5.3 million. 5.8 million. 6.1 million. When the bid slowed, Yang Luo raised his sign. 7 million. Almost the moment the words left his mouth, another voice followed. 7.3 million. Yang Luo turned. Xiao Yongjie was holding up his sign, smiling like he'd been waiting for this exact moment. He even gave Yang Luo a thumbs up, like it was some friendly game. But the message was obvious. He wasn't here to buy the jade. He was here to make sure Yang Luo couldn't buy anything at all.
Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support, we can go beyond that. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.
7.6 million. Yang Luo raised his card again. 8 million. Xiao Yongjie also raised his sign. At this moment, everyone present finally reacted. Looks like young Master Qiao is competing with this kid. Therefore, everyone did not get involved and planned to watch the show. Yang Luo frowned and raised his card again. 9 million. 10 million. Xiao Yongjie also raised his sign. 15 million. Just as Yang Luo was about to raise his sign, Su Wanqiu raised her sign first. She was very grateful that Yang Luo had cured her myocarditis. Now that Yang Luo had finally taken a fancy to something, to think that out came at Xiao Yongjie to cause trouble. This made her very unhappy. Seeing that Su Wanqiu was actually helping Yang Luo bid, Xiao Yongjie was so angry that his chest heaved. He gritted his teeth and raised the sign. He shouted angrily, 20 million. The event location was instantly sent into an uproar. Although this dragon-patterned jade annulus was not bad, 20 million yuan had already exceeded its original value. Just as Su Wanqiu was about to continue bidding, Yang Luo pressed down on the sign in her hand and said, "Forget it. This jade piece is not worth so much money." Su Wanqiu turned to him with a quizzical look. "But don't you like it?" Yang Luo shrugged and said, "I like it, but I didn't say that I have to get it no matter what. Let's take a look at the others. There should be something I like." "Fine." Su Wanqiu nodded and did not continue bidding. The female auctioneer glanced at everyone. Seeing that no one was raising the price, she shouted, 20 million going once, 20 million going twice, 20 million going thrice. Pung! The hammer fell. Congratulations, young Master Qiao, for winning the West Han Dragon Pattern Jade Annulus for 20 million. A female attendant walked up to Xiao Yongjie with a card reader. Xiao Yongjie took out a bank card and swiped it coolly. After that, the second item was brought up. The female auctioneer lifted the red cloth and revealed a painting on the tray. The two auctioneers opened the scroll and presented it to everyone. This was an ink painting. With a few strokes, it perfectly outlined the drizzling rain, the green bamboo, the birds, and the rocks. Through the painting, everyone could sense the quiet and elegant artistic conception in the painting. The female auctioneer introduced, "This is the rain bamboo painting drawn by the famous painter of the Ming Dynasty, Tang Bohu. It's Tang Bohu's original work. There are also poems written by Tang Bohu on the painting. The poems and paintings are interconnected and complement each other. They are precious treasures in ancient paintings." Hearing the female auctioneer's introduction, there was a commotion in the event location. After all, many people liked Tang Bohu's painting and wanted to bid for it. The female auctioneer smiled and said, "All right, let's not talk too much. Let's start the auction now. The starting price is 8 million, and each increment must not be less than 500,000. Her voice had yet to fade, but everyone scrambled to bid. 8.5 million, 9.5 million, 10 million. After many people shouted their bids, Yang Luo raised a sign and shouted, 15 million. "Little Luo, do you like this painting?" By the side, Su Wanqiu asked. "It's not too bad." Yang Luo nodded and said, "This is indeed Tang Bohu's authentic work. It won't be bad if we can bid for it and collect it." Su Wanqiu said, "All right, if you like it, let's bid for it." 20 million. As soon as Yang Luo finished speaking, Xiao Yongjie raised a sign. 25 million. Yang Luo frowned and also raised his sign. 30 million. Xiao Yongjie once again raised his sign arrogantly. "Bastard." Su Wanqiu was instantly infuriated. She raised her sign and shouted, 40 million. 50 million. Xiao Yongjie stood up and raised his head at Su Wanqiu. Just as Su Wanqiu was about to continue bidding, Yang Luo shook his head and said, "Sister Wanqiu, there's no need to bid anymore. This painting is worth at most 30 million. It's not worth it to continue bidding. Don't you like this painting?" Su Wanqiu frowned and continued, "Moreover, Xiao Yongjie is obviously targeting you. We can't show weakness. Don't worry, I'm not short of money." Yang Luo was caught between laughter and tears. "Sister Wanqiu, I know you're rich, but you can't spend money like this. Since this guy wants to be a sucker, let him be." Su Wanqiu narrowed her beautiful eyes and said, "Little Luo, this isn't like you. In my opinion, you're not someone who will swallow your anger. Previously, at the engagement banquet, you knew Qiao Sudong's identity, but you still beat him up." Yang Luo smiled evilly and said, "Who said we have to swallow our anger? Since this young master Qiao wants to play, let's play with him slowly." "What do you mean?" Su Wanqiu looked puzzled. She did not know what Yang Luo was up to. Yang Luo chuckled and said, "Just wait and see. Are there any more bids?" At this moment, the female auctioneer asked loudly. Everyone present had stopped bidding. After all, many people present knew antique calligraphy and paintings. They knew that this painting was not worth 50 million. Seeing that no one else was bidding, the female auctioneer began to hammer. 50 million going once. 50 million going twice. 50 million going thrice. Pung! The hammer fell. Congratulations to young Master Qiao for obtaining another treasure and getting the rain bamboo painting. The female attendant with the PCS machine walked towards Xiao Yongjie again. After Xiao Yongjie swiped his card, he looked at Yang Luo and said loudly, "I advise some people to get lost quickly. Since you don't have money, don't participate in the auction. Not just any Tom, Dick, or Harry can participate in such a high-end place." Hearing Xiao Yongjie's words, everyone present naturally knew who he was talking about. However, they did not say anything and just watched the show. Yang Luo didn't have any reaction. He really didn't want to bother with such a brainless young master. Soon, the auction continued. In the following period of time, Yang Luo would bid from time to time. Every time Yang Luo called out a price, Xiao Yongjie would jump out and bid for the item at a higher price. Gradually, Su Wanqiu also realized that Yang Luo had done this on purpose. His goal was to make Xiao Yongjie a sucker and bid for those items at a price several times higher than the auction items. Wasn't this just teasing a fool? After an unknown period of time, the attendant brought over another item. When the female auctioneer lifted the red cloth, there was a mahogany box on the tray. The moment the mahogany box was opened, everyone present immediately booed. Inside the box was a purple branch that was half the length of an arm. It looked crooked and withered. Therefore, in everyone's eyes, it was just a broken tree branch. Other than the color being purple, there was no other difference. What is this? It can actually be auctioned? I say, is your Yunshang clubhouse crazy about money? You want to sell a broken tree branch. Hurry up and change the item. Don't let this lousy thing ruin the reputation of your Yunshang clubhouse. Everyone expressed their dissatisfaction. However, when Yang Luo saw this broken tree branch, his pupils constricted slightly and he immediately became excited. Others might not be able to tell what it was, but how could Yang Luo not? This broken tree branch was the last medicinal herb he was looking for, the purple dragon root. Therefore, he had to win the bidding no matter what. As long as he bought it, he could start refining the spirit-gathering pill. Of course, although he was excited, his expression did not change at all. It would be best if no one bid for it. He could use the lowest price to bid for the purple dragon root. At this moment, even the female auctioneer was in a difficult position. However, she still braced herself and explained, "Dear guests, please calm down and listen to me. This item was not a tree branch, but a purple ginseng dug up by an old farmer from the western region at the foot of the Heaven Mountain. It was similar to ginseng. Although this sage herb looks ordinary, after expert appraisal, the medicinal value of this sage herb is extremely high. It's at least 50 years old. Come on, sage herb? Purple ginseng? Why haven't I heard of it? A broken tree branch can be exaggerated into ginseng? The experts nowadays really know how to make it up. No one bought it at all. The female auctioneer also had a headache. She only wanted to end this round of auction as soon as possible. Hence, she continued, "Now the auction begins. The starting price is 1 million yuan, and each increment must not be less than 10,000 yuan. When the female auctioneer finished speaking, the event location was silent. No one called out a bid. There was a long silence. Then a bald big boss chuckled and said, "Since no one is bidding, I'll go first." As he spoke, he raised a sign and shouted, 1,010,000. The reason why he called out the price was not because he liked this branch, but because he wanted to get into the good books of the clubhouse and make them look fondly at him. With this boss taking the lead, the other bosses also began to bid. Their thoughts were the same. After all, a few million yuan was nothing to them. 1.1 million, 1.2 million, 1.3 million. Seeing that everyone was bidding, Yang Luo did not move. He was waiting till no one else wanted to bid. Then he would bid at a moderate price and bid for the purple dragon root in one go. Not long after, the price rose to 2 million, and no one continued to bid. The female auctioneer glanced at everyone present and said, "Owner Zhang has bid 2 million. May I ask if there's anything higher than 2 million? Everyone was silent. It was not a big deal to take out 1 or 2 million yuan to play, but if they continued to increase the price, they were clearly fools. They waited some more. Yang Luo hurriedly said to Su Wanxiu, "Sister Wanxiu, use 3 million yuan to bid for this item." Huh? Su Wanxiu was instantly stunned. "Little Luo, aren't you sure you want to bid 3 million for this branch?" Yang Luo said, "Sister Wanxiu, didn't you say that you wanted to give me something? You even said that you would help me bid for anything I like. I like this item, so I hope Sister Wanxiu can help me bid for it." This 1 foot. Su Wanxiu was a little hesitant. "Little Luo, it's not that I can't bear to spend this money. I just feel that it's too unjust. This branch is clearly not worth 3 million yuan. If you like something else, 1 foot 11 inches buy it for you no matter how much it costs. Why don't we take a stop back and wait for something else?" Yang Luo shook his head and said, "There's no need to look. I'm interested in this item." Su Wanxiu finally nodded helplessly at his insistence. "All right then." Although it was indeed a little stupid to spend 3 million yuan to buy a branch, as long as Yang Luo liked it, so be it. At this moment, when the female auctioneer saw that no one was raising the price, she began to hammer. 2 million going once. 2 million going twice. 2 million. 3 million. Su Wanchio took a deep breath and raised a sign. In an instant, the event location exploded into chaos. Damn, is third Madam Su crazy? She actually spent 3 million yuan to buy a branch. No. That kid seems to want third Madam Su to bid. Could it be that that kid wants to cheat young Master Chiao again? Young Master Chiao isn't a fool. How could he keep falling for the tricks? Everyone discussed spiritedly and felt that Yang Luo wanted to continue tricking Xiao Yongjia. Yang Luo also said indifferently, Young Master Chiao, haven't you always wanted to snatch what I like? Why aren't you snatching it now? Don't tell me you're admitting defeat. Xiao Yongjia, who was sitting not far away, heard this comment and got furious. It was not that he did not want to continue fighting with Yang Luo, but he realized that he had spent all the 200 million yuan he had brought. Rong, how much money do you have? Xiao Yongjia asked Chun Rong. Brother Xiao, I still have 50 million. Chun Rong replied. Xiao Yongjia said, lend me this 50 million yuan. I'll return it to you later. Chun Rong panicked. Brother Xiao, I can lend you the money, but don't fight with that guy anymore. Didn't you realize that that guy was tricking you into buying a lot of things you didn't need? And now, this guy wants to trick you into buying a useless branch. Hearing Chun Rong's words, Xiao Yongjia, who had already gotten addicted tawaning Yang Luo, immediately came back to his senses. I understand. I won't let this kid off. Xiao Yongjia glared fiercely at Yang Luo, then took a deep breath and said, I'm here for the 200 a car, old ginseng. But now that I don't have any money on hand, lend me the 50 million. All right, 1 foot. Chan Rong nodded in agreement. After that, Xiao Yongjia borrowed some money from his other lackeys and gathered another 100 million. At this moment, Yang Luo's voice sounded again. Young Master Chiao, are you still bidding? If you still don't bid, this item will be mine. Xiao Yongjia stared at Yang Luo fiercely in response. Kid, do you really think I'm a fool? You still want to continue tricking me? It's just a broken tree branch. You can take it if you want. Since young Master Chiao has said so, I accept it respectfully. Yang Luo smiled happily and said to the female auctioneer, Beauty, no one is bidding anymore. Just drop the hammer. Seeing that no one else was bidding, the female auctioneer began to hammer. 3 million going once. 3 million going twice. 3 million going thrice. Thud. The hammer fell. Congratulations, third Madam Su, for winning the sage herb. A female attendant walked over with a purple ginseng and a POS machine. Su Wanchio took out a bank card from her bag and swiped it. Yang Luo took the sage herb and the corners of his mouth curled up. He was instantly overjoyed. The ingredients for refining the spirit-gathering pill were finally gathered. Xiao Yongjia sneered. You're so happy just because you bought a lousy tree branch. You're really a bumpkin. So ignorant. That's right. Chan Rong also took over. You spent 3 million yuan to buy a tree branch. Is there anyone more stupid than you? The others present also shook their heads one after another, feeling that Yang Luo was simply hopelessly stupid. No matter what Xiao Yongjia and Chun Rong said, Yang Luo remained indifferent and calm. However, Chun Rong clearly had no intention of letting Yang Luo off just like that. She continued, more importantly, you still want a woman to pay for a mere 3 million yuan. You're simply just freeloading off her. Su Wanchio said coldly, he's my boyfriend. I'm willing to spend money for him. What's wrong? What does it have to do with you? Chun Rong spread her hands and said, it's indeed none of my business if you're willing to spend money on this pretty boy. However, anyone with discerning eyes can tell that this pretty boy is scamming you. You're still acting like a fool. You really took out 3 million yuan to bid for a broken tree branch for him. I think the two of you are really so silly together. Hearing this, everyone present laughed. Xiao Yongjia, in particular, laughed especially loudly. Just now, he had been led by Yang Luo and had been tricked badly. Now, he had finally vented his anger. Hearing everyone's laughter, Su Wanchio was so angry that she clenched her fists but there was nothing she could do. After all, she had indeed spent 3 million yuan to bid for a broken tree branch for Yang Luo. This was an undeniable fact. At this moment, Yang Luo's expression turned cold. It would be fine if these guys mocked him. However, he could not tolerate them mocking Su Wanqiao as well. Yang Luo stood up and picked up the purple ginseng. He said loudly, "Do you really think this is just a broken tree branch? What else? Do you think this is a treasure?" Xiao Yongjie continued with a mocking smile. "That's right. If it's really a treasure, why would it be your turn?" Chen Rongrong chimed in. Yang Luo chuckled and said, "In that case, I'll let you see the true appearance of this broken tree branch." As he spoke, Yang Luo's right hand suddenly shook. In an instant, the withered skin fell off one after another, and a dazzling purple light instantly shot out, making everyone around unable to open their eyes. The true appearance of this broken tree branch finally appeared in front of everyone. Its entire body emitted a purple light. It was crystal clear and rich in spiritual energy. It was filled with life and vitality, like a small purple dragon coiling in Yang Luo's hand. Moreover, the rich medicinal fragrance instantly filled the entire auction hall, making everyone present feel refreshed and clear-headed. "Oh my God, what is this? Why do I feel comfortable just by smelling it?" I didn't expect the true appearance of this withered branch to be so extraordinary. Treasure. This is a real treasure. Everyone present exclaimed and stared fixedly at Yang Luo's right hand. How could this be? This broken tree branch is actually a top-grade medicinal herb. Chen Rongrong could not help but scream. Xiao Yongjie's face also darkened. He clenched his fists and knocked them together. He was a martial warrior, so he could naturally sense the dense spiritual energy contained in this medicinal herb. This was definitely an excellent medicinal herb for cultivation. It was countless times more valuable than the 200-year-old ginseng medicinal herb he wanted to bid for today. Su Wanqiao, who was sitting beside Yang Luo, was also stunned. She had never expected this broken tree branch to be a treasure. "Little Luo, what exactly is this? Is it very precious?" Su Wanqiao hurriedly asked. The others also looked at Yang Luo for explanation. Yang Luo smiled and said, "This herb's real name is the purple dragon root. It's a top-grade herb. Just by consuming the purple dragon root, you can strengthen your body, nurture your essence, and extend your lifespan by 10 years. Right after he finished his sentence, everyone fell crazy. Extending one's lifespan by 10 years. A medicinal herb could extend one's lifespan by 10 years. This was a priceless treasure. "Little brother, can you sell this medicinal herb to me? I'll pay 30 million. A middle-aged boss looked at Yang Luo longingly. "Little brother, I'll pay 50 million for you to sell this herb to me." A boss with slick-back hair shouted excitedly. "I'll pay 100 million, 200 million, 300 million. In an instant, the event location exploded. The value of the purple dragon root increased exponentially, directly rising to 1 billion yuan, but it did not stop. To these big bosses, there was nothing more desiring than extending their lifespan. After all, no matter how much money they earned, they had to be alive to spend it. Hearing the value of the purple dragon root being refreshed again and again, Su Wanqiao was dumbfounded. No wonder Yang Luo insisted that he bid for this herb. It turned out to be so precious. The price of 3 million yuan had already increased dozens of times from the original bid. Even Xiao Yongjie and Chen Rongrong were also dumbfounded. Although they could tell that this medicinal herb was very precious, they did not expect it to be so precious. The *M in it. Xiao Yongjie roared at Chen Rongrong. "If you hadn't stopped me, this herb would have been mine." Chen Rongrong said with an aggrieved expression, "Brother Xiao, didn't you also think that this was just a broken tree branch just now?" At J2, Xiao Yongjie was rendered speechless. A vicious glint flashed across Chen Rongrong's eyes as she said in a low voice, "Brother Xiao, let him be smug. After the auction ends, we'll just snatch it from him." "All right, let's do that." Xiao Yongjie nodded. At this moment, The second bid had already reached 5 billion. However, Yang Luo was still indifferent. He smiled faintly and said, "Everyone, this purple dragon root is very important to me, so I'm sorry. I'm not selling it." With that, Yang Luo placed the purple dragon root into the box, closed the lid, and sat down. Everyone immediately stopped. They were very unwilling, but it was not good to say anything else. After all, they had indeed misjudged. Su Wanxiu asked excitedly, "Little Luo, did you already tell that this herb is of extraordinary value?" "Of course." Yang Luo nodded and said with a smile, "That's why I asked you to bid for it." Su Wanxiu said with admiration, "Other than you, no one else can use 3 million yuan to buy a priceless treasure." She was even more curious about Yang Luo now. Who exactly was this man? Not only was his medical skills superb, but his skills were also extraordinary. Moreover, his senses were so sharp. What surprised her even more was that Yang Luo held a priceless treasure in his hand, but his expression was still very calm, and this calmness was not faked. If it were an ordinary person, they would have gone crazy from excitement. How could a man that came from the mountains be so devilish? "Sister Wanxiu, why are you staring at me? I know I'm handsome, but you don't have to stare at me like this, right?" From the corner of his eye, Yang Luo teased. Su Wanxiu charmingly rolled her eyes at Yang Luo and said, "I think it has nothing to do with whether you're handsome or not. I'm just very curious. Who exactly are you?" Yang Luo met Su Wanxiu's gaze and said, "It's not important who I am. What's important is that you must not be curious about me. Don't you know that curiosity is the beginning of liking someone?" I. Su Wanxiu blushed and said, "You're good, little Luo. You even dare to tease Andy. Aren't you afraid that Qingmei will break your legs?" Yang Luo said helplessly, "Why is it Andy again? Aren't you supposed to be sister?" "Humph, I'm not talking to you anymore." Su Wanxiu snorted softly and turned her head away. After that, the auction continued. One by one, the items were brought up and auctioned off. Yang Luo was not interested in the rest of the items. Only the 200-year-old ginseng that he brought up at the end attracted his attention slightly. However, while the 200-year-old ginseng was authentic, but because it was not well preserved, the medicinal properties were greatly reduced. Most importantly, the price of this 200-year-old ginseng kept rising. In the end, Qiao Yongjia spent 2 million to bid for it. After Qiao Yongjia swiped his card, he flaunted to Yang Luo, "Kid, although this 200-year-old ginseng in my hand can't compare to your purple dragon root, its medicinal effect isn't bad either. Are you envious?" Yang Luo chuckled and said, "That's right. I'm really envious of you. You could take out so much money to squander. This 200-year-old ginseng in your hand is worth at most 20 to 30 million yuan because its medicinal effect have been reduced. However, you actually spent 100 million yuan to buy it. I'm impressed." Upon hearing this, everyone present broke out in a cold sweat. F***CK. Fortunately, I had stopped bidding in time. Otherwise, I would have been a fool. That's right. I was about to continue bidding up till 150 million just now. Fortunately, I didn't. Everyone chimed in, rejoicing that they did not continue bidding. They naturally believed Yang Luo's words. Since this kid could spend 3 million to buy a top-grade medicinal herb, it meant that his eyesight in looking at herbs was very good. Since this kid had said so, there was no mistake. At this moment, Qiao Yongjia was so angry that his lungs were about to explode and his eyes were about to spew fire. He had been reduced to being a sucker for the entire auction. He was simply taken for as a fool. "Brother Qiao, don't listen to his nonsense. He's deliberately angering you." Chen Rongrong glared at Yang Luo. Yang Luo shrugged and said, yes. I'm indeed angry at him. It's good that you can comfort yourselves like this." Chen Rongrong got so angry that her face turned red. She wished she could skin Yang Luo alive. Qiao Yongjia took a deep breath and said, "Kid, just you wait." With that, he left the auction with Chen Rongrong and the others. Su Wanxiu frowned and said, "Qiao Yongjia and the rest will definitely be waiting for you at the door. They won't let you off easily. I'd better call someone over quickly." "There's no need. Yang Luo shook his head and said, "Since they want to continue playing, let's play with them." As he spoke, Yang Luo left the auction hall. Su Wanxiu thought about it and did not call for help for the time being. Instead, she planned to move based on the circumstances. She was the third madam of the Su family. No matter how arrogant Xiao Yongjia and the others were, they probably wouldn't dare to really attack her. At this thought, she followed. However, before walking out of the clubhouse, Yang Luo took out his phone and sent a message to Hong Yunji, asking him to come over. Hong Yunji was the leader of the Martial Alliance in Jiang City. He was the one who managed all the martial arts schools. Since Xiao Yongjia and the others were also from the martial arts school, so they were naturally under Hong Yunji's control. Just as Yang Luo and Su Wanxiu walked out of the clubhouse, Xiao Yongjia, Chen Rongrong, and the others strode over and blocked their way. "What do you want?" Yang Luo asked calmly. "What do I want?" Xiao Yongjia lit a cigarette and took a deep puff. He blew a mouthful of smoke at Yang Luo as he spat. "Kid, what do you think I want to do? Hurry up and hand over the purple dragon root in your hand. Then kneel on the ground and kowtow to me to apologize. Moreover, promise to stay away from this beauty in the future. I can consider letting you off." Shen Rongrong crossed her arms and said arrogantly, "Kid, did you hear that? Hurry up and do as Brother Qiao says. You'd better be sensible. We're not existences you can provoke." At this moment, the people who came out of the clubhouse saw the commotion and surrounded them. "It's over. This kid cheated young Master Qiao of the entire auction. Young Master Qiao definitely won't let him off easily." However, with third Madame Su around, young Master Qiao and the others shouldn't dare to do anything, right? In terms of wealth, Zhongyi Martial Arts School and True Martial Dojo naturally can't compare, but in terms of strength, the Su family really can't compare. Everyone whispered and felt that Yang Luo was done for. Seeing that Yang Luo was silent, Chen Rongrong sneered. "Kid, are you scared silly just by this? If you don't want to suffer physical pain, quickly do it." Yang Luo said calmly, "I advise you not to provoke me. Otherwise, you won't have a good time." Hearing this, Xiao Yongjia, Chen Rongrong, and the others immediately burst into laughter. Xiao Yongjia looked at Yang Luo as if he was looking at a fool and said, "Kid, let me tell you, in the entire Jiang City, there's no one I don't dare to provoke." "Really?" Yang Luo narrowed his eyes and said, "Are you that awesome?" "Of course my brother Qiao is awesome." Chen Rongrong looked at Xiao Yongjia with admiration and said, "My brother Qiao is the young master of Zhongyi Martial Arts School, one of the 3 top martial arts schools in Jiang City. He's also a prodigy among the younger generation in Jiang City. No one can compare to him. All right, there's no need to talk nonsense with this kid. It's meaningless." Xiao Yongjia waved his hand and looked at Yang Luo. "Kid, my patience is limited. Hurry up and do as I say." Yang Luo, however, continued calmly, "What if I don't do as you say?" "Are you sure?" Xiao Yongjia stared at Yang Luo ruthlessly. "I'm sure of it." Yang Luo nodded. Good, great." Xiao Yongjia was so angry that he laughed out loud instead. Then he waved his hand. "Brothers, break his legs." With a command, the few martial arts school disciples behind him moved forward and prepared to attack. "Wait." Su Wanxiu stood up and said in a deep voice, "I'm a member of the Su family. If you dare to touch him, you'll be making an enemy of our Su family." Xiao Yongjia said tassingly, "Beauty, I know you're from the Su family, but does your Su family dare to be enemies with my Zhongyi Martial Arts School? Not to mention Zhongyi Martial Arts School. Does your Su family dare to become enemies with our True Martial Dojo?" Chen Rongrong also echoed proudly. "You guys." Su Wanxiu did not know what to do. Although the Su family was rich and powerful, they did not dare to really provoke first-rate martial arts schools, let alone 2 first-rate martial arts schools. "Sister Wanxiu, don't worry about this matter. Leave it to me," Yang Luo said gently. Then he stood in front of Su Wanxiu and said to Qiao, "Yongjia and the others, didn't you want to fight? Hurry up, go." Xiao Yongjia's patience was long exhausted. He waved his hand and gave the order. 10 disciples of the martial arts school rushed towards Yang Luo. It's over. This kid is really over. To dare to exchange blows with a martial warrior, isn't that just having a death wish? Everyone present could not bear to watch anymore. They felt that Yang Luo would definitely be beaten up until he cried for his parents. However, the moment these 10 martial arts school disciples rushed up, Yang Luo took a step forward and transformed into a bolt of lightning that rushed towards the 10 of them. In less than 3 seconds, bang, 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 the 10 disciples were all sent flying 10 meters away. They completely lost their combat strength and wailed on the ground. In an instant, only Qiao Yongjia and Chen Rongrong were left standing. Seeing this scene, everyone present was dumbfounded as if they had been struck by lightning. Holy **T, is this kid so fierce? In less than 3 seconds, he settled 10 martial warriors. Someone could not help but exclaim. The others also finally reacted to the scene in front of them. No wonder this kid dared to provoke young Master Qiao. It turned out that he was fearless. Hey, so you're a martial artist as well. This sister here play with you. Chen Rongrong smiled coldly. Then, in a flash, she rushed towards Yang Luo. The moment she approached Yang Luo, Chen Rongrong slapped towards Yang Luo's chest. Although this palm looked gentle, there was a ferocious force in it, causing the air to crackle as if it wanted to shatter everything. Could this be the specialty of the true martial dojo, the 8 trigrams palm? As expected of the eldest daughter of the true martial dojo, I'm afraid she's already perfected this 8 trigrams palm. Exclamations rose and fell. Hearing everyone's exclamations, Chen Rongrong became even more smug. Although she was only at the late-stage acquired realm, even if dozens of adult men attacked together, they were not her match. Therefore, she was confident that she could shatter a few of Yang Luo's ribs with a slap and make him vomit blood. However, just as Chen Rongrong's palm was about to hit him, Yang Luo stood rooted to the ground. He did not move at all, as if he was scared silly. In an instant, bang! Chen Rongrong's palm landed heavily on Yang Luo's chest, emitting a muffled sound. Everyone thought that Yang Luo would be sent flying and vomit blood. However, after a few seconds, Yang Luo remained where he was as if nothing had happened. There was even a teasing smile on his lips. How is this possible? Chen Rongrong's pupils constricted, her eyes filled with shock. One had to know that her palm was enough to shatter a tree as thick as an adult's waist. It could even shatter a 10-centimeter thick stone tablet. But now, her palm could not shake this kid. Qiao Yongjia also frowned, sensing that something was wrong. The others present were also stunned. Those who didn't know better would think that Chen Rongrong was acting. You haven't mastered this 8 trigrams palm yet, and you dare to use it to bully others. Who gave you the guts? Yang Luo smiled mockingly and shook his head. Then he said, I'll let you see what a real 8 trigrams palm is. Right after he finished his sentence, Yang Luo raised his right hand and slapped Chen Rongrong's face. With a slap, a strong wind whistled, and a sonic boom exploded. Chen Rongrong was shocked and wanted to raise her hand to counterattack, but she was a step too late. The next second, pa! Yang Luo's palm landed heavily on Chen Rongrong's face, producing a crisp sound. Ah! Chen Rongrong screamed in pain and was sent flying more than 10 meters away. Half of her face swelled up, and 5 finger marks appeared. Blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. For Han Yunji's sake, Yang Luo had even controlled his strength perfectly. Otherwise, this slap would be enough to shatter Chen Rongrong's head. How dare you hit Rongrong? You have a death wish. Qiao Yongjia roared angrily and pounced at Yang Luo. The moment he approached Yang Luo, Qiao Yongjia twisted his fist and punched Yang Luo's chest. This punch was extremely strong and ferocious, smashing up like a cannonball. Even if most of the people present did not know martial arts, they could tell how terrifying Qiao Yongjia's punch was. It was definitely much more terrifying than Chen Rongrong's palm just now. Therefore, Qiao Yongjia's cultivation was at the perfected acquired realm. He was only a step away from stepping into the Khanate realm, and was several times stronger than Chen Rongrong. Back connecting fist? It looks like it, but it's a pity that your speed and strength are insufficient. It's too weak. TL note. This is translated from Tongbiquan, which is a school of martial arts in China. Yang Luo only replied indifferently. Then, he twisted his fist as well and met the punch head-on. You actually know the back-connecting fist as well. Xiao Yongjia exclaimed, his eyes filled with disbelief. Just now, Chen Rongrong used the 8 trigrams palm, and this kid also used the 8 trigrams palm. Now that he had used the back-connecting fist, this kid had also used the same move. Most importantly, be it the 8 trigrams palm or the back-connecting fist, they seem to be faster and fiercer when executed by this kid. The instant both fists met, thud, the 2 fists collided with a muffled bang. Wah! Xiao Yongjia let out a scream. A piercing pain spread from his fist to his entire arm. His entire arm had been broken by Yang Luo. Piss off! Yang Luo shouted coldly and kicked Xiao Yongjia away. Xiao Yongjia flew more than 10 meters away and rolled on the ground a few times before stopping. For a moment, the event location fell silent. But right after, the entire scene boiled over. This kid is too fierce. He defeated young Master Qiao and Miss Chun so easily. Could it be that this kid is also a martial warrior? Everyone exclaimed and looked at Yang Luo with fear. Su Wanxiu heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that ordinary people were indeed not this kid's match. Yang Luo glanced at Xiao Yongjia and Chun Rongrong with a calm expression and asked, "Do you want to continue?" Xiao Yongjia clutched his chest and got up. He said fiercely, "Kid, just you wait. I'll call my father over now. I'll call my father too. He'll beat you up." Chun Rongrong covered her face and stood up as well. "You're not strong enough, so you want to ask your fathers for help?" Yang Luo sneered and said, "All right, then hurry up and make a call. I'll wait." Soon, Xiao Yongjia and Chun Rongrong made the calls. After the call, Xiao Yongjia put away his cell phone and said fiercely, "Kid, weren't you very arrogant? Let's see how you can continue to be arrogant when my father comes. Kid, you hit me and Brother Qiao. You're dead." Chun Rongrong also added ruthlessly, "Little brother, hurry up and escape. You hit Hall Master Qiao and Hall Master Chen's children. They definitely won't let you off." "That's right, little brother." It's said that Hall Master Qiao and Hall Master Chun are Khanate realm martial warriors. Their strength is powerful and not something ordinary people can compare to. Everyone present advised Yang Luo to escape quickly. Su Wanxiu also said, "Little Luo, let's leave quickly and let my father negotiate with Hall Master Qiao and Hall Master Chun. For my father's sake, Hall Master Qiao and Hall Master Chun might let you off. Escape." Xiao Yongjia sneered and said, "Let's see where you can escape to. Even if you escape from Jiang City, we can still find you." Chun Rongrong also raised her head and said, "Our 2 martial arts schools have long joined China's martial alliance. The martial alliance of China is spread throughout the entire country. Kid, you won't be able to escape." Yang Luo said in amusement, "Who said I'm going to escape? You guys aren't worthy of me escaping." Chun Rongrong pointed at Yang Luo and said, "Kid, keep being stubborn. I'll see how you kneel down and beg for mercy later." Time passed slowly, and after 20 minutes had passed, a black Mercedes-Benz convoy and a black Audi convoy drove over and quickly stopped at the entrance of the clubhouse. The car door opened, and a group of people got out of the car and strode over. The leaders were 2 middle-aged men. One of them was wearing a white training suit. He was about 1.8 meters tall, had a muscular figure, and possessed a domineering aura. The other was wearing a black training suit. He was about 1.75 meters tall and had a 30% to 70% parted hairstyle. He was lean and had sharp eyes. These 2 middle-aged men were the masters of the 3 top martial arts schools in Jiang City: Zhongyi Martial Arts School and True Martial Dojo, Qiao Jinsong and Chen Qingshan. It's Hall Master Qiao and Hall Master Chun. Even Hall Master Qiao and Hall Master Chun were alarmed. This matter has really blown up. "Hello, Hall Master Qiao. Hello, Hall Master Chun." Everyone present exclaimed and walked forward to greet him warmly. "Dad, you're finally here. If you hadn't come, I would have been beaten to death. Chen Rongrong walked up, crying, "Dad!" Xiao Yongjia also covered his broken arm and walked up. Seeing Chen Rongrong's swollen face, Chen Qingshan shouted angrily, "Who dares to hit my daughter? Come out!" Xiao Jinsong was also furious. He roared, "There's actually someone in Jiang City who dares to touch my son? Is that person trying to rebel against the heavens?" Their thunderous roars spread into everyone's ears, making their eardrums buzz. There were even many people who were so frightened that their bodies were trembling and they could not stand steadily. Is this the pressure of a Khanate realm martial warrior? It's too terrifying. Someone spoke out in a trembling voice. "I was the one who hit your daughter. I was the one who touched your son." Yang Luo shouted and strode out. Seeing Yang Luo step forward, everyone present could not help but gasp. "Oh my God, this kid is too bold. He actually dares to stand up directly. Isn't he courting death?" Someone sighed. "That's right. Hall Master Qiao and Hall Master Chun have always been very protective. Now that their children have been beaten up, they definitely won't let this kid off easily." Someone else added. The instant Yang Luo spoke out, Xiao Jingsong and Chen Qingshan stared at Yang Luo, their eyes flickering coldly like blades. Everyone present did not even dare to breathe loudly, afraid that they would be implicated. Chen Qingshan said coldly, "Kid, how dare you hit my daughter? Do you really not know how the word death is written?" Xiao Jinsong also said in a low voice, "Kid, if you break your arm and leg and kneel down to apologize to my son, I can spare your life." Yang Luo chuckled and said, "Hall Master Qiao, Hall Master Chun, aren't you going to ask me why I hit your son and daughter?" Xiao Jinsong said in a trembling voice, "No matter what the reason is, since you hit my son, you have to pay the price." Chen Qingshan also shouted, "Kid, I don't want to talk nonsense with you. Hurry up and break your arm and leg. Kneel down and apologize." "Hall Master Qiao, Hall Master Chun, Yang Luo is our Su family son-in-law. Please spare Yang Luo on account of our Su family. We will definitely apologize." Seeing that the matter had blown up, Su Wanxiu quickly stood up to speak. "The Su family?" Xiao Jinsong smiled disdainfully and said, "Your Su family's reputation is not enough." Chen Qingshan also stood with his hands behind his back and said proudly, "Apologizing alone is not enough. This kid has to pay the price he deserves. I gave you face, didn't I?" Yang Luo was furious and shouted. His figure flashed, leaving an afterimage as he rushed towards Xiao Jinsong and Chen Qingshan. Originally, he wanted to reason with these two fellows. Since these two fellows did not listen to reason, he would use his fist to speak. "How dare you take the initiative to attack us? You have a death wish." Chen Qingshan shouted coldly and took a step forward to fight. And the moment they got close, Chen Qingshan brought with him a strong wind as he slapped towards Yang Luo. Everyone present even saw waves of air sweeping into the sky, making them extremely shocked. "You're the one who has a death wish." Yang Luo also shouted coldly and waved his palm to meet the attack. In just a few seconds, bang, a muffled thunder exploded. Cracks appeared on the cement ground under their feet. Chen Qingshan originally thought that this palm was enough to cripple Yang Luo's arm. However, in the next second, he felt a sharp pain from his palm to his arm. Ugh! Chen Qingshan let out a painful cry as he was sent flying. After flying for 7 to 8 meters, Chen Qingshan finally stabilized his body. Although his body had stabilized, he felt pain and numbness in his arm. The blood in his body boiled, and he could not help but spit out a mouth of blood. "Brother Chun," Xiao Jingsong was instantly shocked, his eyes filled with disbelief. One had to know that he and Chen Qingshan were both late-stage Khanate realm martial warriors. Their strength was not much different. However, he did not expect that this kid in front of him would actually make Chen Qingshan vomit blood with a single palm. "Dad!" Chen Rongrong shouted in shock and hurriedly ran up. However, before Xiao Jinsong could come back to his senses, Yang Luo's figure moved and rushed towards him. In just a few seconds, Yang Luo approached Xiao Jinsong and threw a punch. Bastard! Qiao Jingsong roared angrily and mobilized the true qi in his body as well. He punched forward. Thud! Only a loud sound was heard when their fists clashed. It was like a thunderclap, making everyone's eardrums hurt. Soon, Qiao Jinsong was also sent flying and spat out a large mouthful of blood. Dad! Xiao Yongjia's expression changed drastically as he hurriedly ran over. Seeing this scene, the event location fell silent. Even a pin drop could be heard. Everyone looked at Yang Luo in shock. They did not expect that Xiao Jingsong and Qin Qingshan were actually not a match for Yang Luo. Isn't this kid too strong? He made Hall Master Qiao and Hall Master Qin vomit blood with just a palm and a punch. When did such a terrifying young martial arts expert appear in Jiang City? That's amazing. If one were that amazing, I would be able to do whatever I want in Jiang City. Everyone discussed spiritedly as they stared at Yang Luo with fear and admiration. At this moment, Qiao Jinsong and Chen Qingshan felt that they had lost all their face. They were furious. In the end, they were the dojo masters of the 3 top martial arts schools in Jiang City, but now they were actually beaten until they vomited blood by a young kid. This was too embarrassing. Young Brat, I'll kill you. Chen Qingshan was the first to roar and rush towards Yang Luo. Xiao Jinsong did not stop at all. He pushed Xiao Yongjia away and rushed forward. The 20-odd martial arts school disciples they brought also moved at the same time and rushed forward. Seeing Xiao Jinsong, Chen Qingshan, and the others attacking at the same time, Yang Luo was on the contrary not afraid at all and prepared to fight. But at this moment, halt! A thunderous shout was heard. Everyone turned around and saw a group of people striding over. At the front were Hong Yunji and Hong Zakai. Alliance Master Hong. Alliance Master Hong is here. Oh my God, this matter actually alarmed Alliance Master Hong. Everyone exclaimed, their eyes filled with shock. When Xiao Jingsong, Chen Qingshan, and the others saw Hong Yunji arrive, they stopped and hurriedly went up to him. Alliance Master Hong, why are you here? Xiao Jingsong bent down slightly and asked respectfully. Hong Yunji snorted coldly and said, Old Xiao, if I hadn't come, wouldn't you have turned the world upside down? As he spoke, Hong Yunji strode towards Yang Luo. He bent down slightly and said, Mr. Yang, I'm sorry. There was a traffic jam on the way. I'm late. Seeing this scene, everyone present was shocked and dumbfounded. Hong Yunji was the leader of the martial alliance in Jiang City. He controlled all the martial arts schools in Jiang City and was a big shot in Jiang City. But now, Hong Yunji actually lowered his head and bowed to that young man. Furthermore, he was so polite. This was simply unbelievable. Su Wanxiu, who was standing at the side, was also stunned. When did this kid get to know Hong Yunji? In particular, Xiao Jingsong, Chen Qingshan, and the others were dumbfounded and stood rooted to the ground. Xiao Yongjia and Chen Rongrong were also stunned. Their bodies trembled and their faces turned pale. Alliance Master Hong, you came at the right time. Yang Luo waved his hand, indicating that he didn't mind. Hong Yunji then asked, Mr. Yang, what exactly is going on? Alliance Master Hong, it's like this. Yang Luo did not hide anything and told Hong Yunji what had happened. After hearing Yang Luo's words, Hong Yunji was instantly furious. He shouted, Xiao Yongjia, Chen Rongrong, come over quickly. Xiao Yongjia and Chen Rongrong hurried over. Hong Yunji shouted, kneel down and apologize to Mr. Yang. Xiao Jinsong frowned and said, Alliance Master Hong, what are you doing? This kid hit Yongjia and Rongrong. You should be the one apologizing, right? Hong Yunji said coldly, Old Xiao, you heard it just now. It was clearly Yongjia and Rongrong who provoked Mr. Yang first. Alliance Master Hong, who is this kid? Is he worthy of you standing up for him? Chen Qingshan asked unhappily. Hong Yunji said, Mr. Yang is my savior. If not for Mr. Yang, I would have died long ago. Moreover, Mr. Yang helped me break through in my cultivation. He has given me a new lease of life. Mr. Yang is my best friend. Whoever dares to make an enemy of Mr. Yang is making an enemy of me. Hearing this, Qiao Jinsong and Chun Qingshan's expressions changed drastically, and they did not dare to say anything else. Hong Yunji glanced at Qiao Yongjie and Chen Rongrong and said coldly, "Kneel down and apologize." Thump, thump. Qiao Yongjie and Chen Rongrong quickly knelt down and said, "I'm sorry." Yang Luo ignored Qiao Yongjie and Chen Rongrong. Instead, he looked at Hong Yunji and said, "Alliance Master Hong, for your sake, I'll forgive them this once." With that, Yang Luo turned around and left. Su Wanqiu quickly followed behind. After Yang Luo and Su Wanqiu left in the car, Hong Yunji wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and heaved a sigh of relief. "Alliance Master Hong, why are you so afraid of that kid?" Xiao Jingsong was very puzzled. In the entire Jiang city, he had never seen Hong Yunji afraid of anyone. Hong Yunji said, "Old Xiao, you might not know this, but although Mr. Yang is young, his cultivation has already stepped into the Grandmaster realm." "What? That kid has stepped into the Grandmaster realm? How was this possible? This kid is only in his early 20s, right?" Xiao Jingsong and Chun Qingshan looked at Hong Yunji in shock. Xiao Yongjie and Chun Rongrong were also dumbfounded, but they were still skeptical of Hong Yunji's words and felt that it was impossible. After all, Yang Luo was about the same age as them. How could he be a Grandmaster realm expert? Whether you believe it or not, it's the truth. Hong Yunji said indifferently. "Moreover, it's all thanks to Mr. Yang's help that I could successfully step into the Grandmaster realm." "Alliance Master Hong, you've stepped into the Grandmaster realm? Congratulations! Congratulations!" Xiao Jingsong and Chun Qingshan were stunned for a moment before hurriedly offering their congratulations. Hong Yunji waved his hand and said, "In short, I advise you not to provoke Mr. Yang in the future. If there's a next time, you'll definitely die. At that time, even my word can't save you from his wrath." "Understood." Xiao Jinsong nodded and shouted at Xiao Yongjie and Chen Rongrong. "Yongjie, Rongrong, did you hear that? Don't provoke Mr. Yang again." "Yes." Xiao Yongjie and Chen Rongrong replied indignantly. After Yang Luo and Su Wanqiu left Yinshan Clubhouse in a car, the car drove for a while before Su Wanqiu asked, "Little Luo, when did you meet Alliance Master Hong? Moreover, why is Alliance Master Hong so respectful to you?" Yang Luo said, "I met Alliance Master Hong yesterday. The reason why Alliance Master Hong respects me is entirely because I saved his life." Yang Luo told Su Wanqiu what had happened at the Heavenly Path Martial Arts School yesterday. After listening to Yang Luo's explanation, Su Wanqiu finally came to a realization. "So that's what happened." Su Wanqiu nodded. She glared at Yang Luo and said, "Kid, you didn't even say anything just now. You basically made me worry for nothing." Yang Luo chuckled and said, "Sister Wanqiu, you didn't ask me." "Oomph." Su Wanqiu snorted softly and reached out to knock Yang Luo's head. Yang Luo rubbed his head and said, "Sister Wanqiu, how could you hit someone? I just feel like hitting you." Su Wanqiu said angrily, "Why? Are you going to hit me back?" Yang Luo could only shrug in resignation. "You're my sister. How can I beat you? At least you know what's good for you." Su Wanqiu snorted and said, "It's already noon. Accompany me to eat." "All right." Yang Luo nodded in agreement. After lunch, Su Wanqiu sent Yang Luo to the entrance of Hua Mei Biomedical. After Yang Luo got out of the car, he walked into the company and took the elevator upstairs. However, just as Yang Luo walked out of the elevator, he saw Su Qingmei walking towards him. Seeing Yang Luo, Su Qingmei said, "Yang Luo, you're back at the right time. Accompany me out." "Ah, okay." Yang Luo nodded and got into the elevator with Su Qingmei. When they arrived at the underground parking lot, Yang Luo and Su Qingmei got into the car together. "Where are we going?" Yang Luo asked in curiosity. Su Qingmei said, "To Blue Bridge Cafe." "All right." Yang Luo nodded, turned on the GPS, and left the underground parking lot. On the way to Blue Bridge Cafe, Yang Luo asked curiously, "Qingmei, why are we going to the cafe?" Su Qingmei said, "Now that the major companies have terminated their contracts with us, I have to think of a way to remedy it." So I asked President Shun of the Heroes Chamber of Commerce to meet me at the cafe for a chat. If President Shun can speak up for us, we should be able to stabilize a portion of our partners. Yang Luo said helplessly, Qingmei, since those guys want to terminate our cooperation, let them terminate it. In any case, when our new product goes on the market, those guys will come running over and beg to cooperate with us. Su Qingmei frowned and said, but have you ever thought about what if the new products we produce still can't compete with Ding Sheng Biomedical? There's no what if. Yang Luo shook his head. Forget it. You don't know anything about business. It's useless to tell you. Su Qingmei shook her head and changed the topic. By the way, Yang Luo, have you cured Annie? Of course. Yang Luo smiled and said, your auntie's myocarditis has completely recovered. She won't have a relapse in the future. That's good. Su Qingmei nodded and asked, then why did you only come back now? Yang Luo said, after treating your auntie, she dragged me to an auction and we had lunch together. As for what happened at the auction, he didn't say anything, lest this woman would start to worry too. After driving for half an hour, they arrived at Blue Bridge Cafe. After parking the car, Yang Luo and Su Qingmei walked into the cafe. Under the attendant's lead, the two of them arrived at a private room. They ordered coffee and drank it while they waited. After waiting for half an hour, Yang Luo got a little impatient. Why isn't President Shun here yet? Su Qingmei said, President Shun is the president of the Jiang City Heroes Chamber of Commerce. He's usually very busy. Therefore, don't be anxious. Let's wait a little longer. Yang Luo curled his lips and said, I don't think President Shun cares about you at all. Su Qingmei pursed her lips and only felt that the coffee in her mouth was even more bitter than usual. How could she not know that President Shun did not take her seriously? If it was in the past, when Huamei Biomedical was at its peak, President Shun would have arrived on time no matter how busy he was. But now, Huamei Biomedical was in danger and was suppressed by Ding Sheng Biomedical. It was already good enough that President Shun agreed to meet her, so she naturally could not ask for so much. Another half an hour soon passed. The door of the private room was pushed open, and a woman in her 30s walked in. She was wearing a beige business suit and had short hair. She had a capable aura. This woman was the president of the Heroes Chamber of Commerce, Shenyun. All the big and small companies in Jiang City had joined the Heroes Chamber of Commerce. As the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Shenyun could summon all the big companies. Her power could not be underestimated. This was also the reason why Su Qingmei asked to meet with Shenyun. After all, no matter what she said to those companies, it was not as much worth as a word from Shenyun. President Shun, you're here. Su Qingmei smiled and stood up. Shenyun nodded indifferently and sat down opposite them. President Shun, what would you like to drink? Su Qingmei asked warmly. Let's forego the coffee. Shenyun shook her head and raised the Patek Philippe watch on her wrist to take a look. She continued, I'm in a hurry. I'll give you 10 minutes. Tell me, why are you looking for me? Seeing this woman's arrogant expression, Yang Luo immediately got angry. You're President Shun, right? President Su and I waited for you for an hour, but not only did you not apologize at all, but you also said coldly when you arrived. You even said that you would only give President Su 10 minutes. Aren't you a little too rude? He really did not want Su Qingmei to suffer. Shenyun frowned slightly and said, President Su, who is this? Su Qingmei hurriedly said, President Shun, he's my assistant, Yang Luo. Shenyun glanced at Yang Luo and said coldly, since you're an assistant, watch your mouth. Don't say anything you shouldn't say. You? Yang Luo became even angrier. He stared intently at Shenyun and said, President Shun, people have to show respect to each other. If you respect others, others will respect you. Moreover, everyone has a time where they need to beg others. There might be a day when you will beg us. Shenyun's expression turned uglier. President Su, if you have such an attitude, there's no need to continue this conversation today. As she spoke, Shenyun stood up and prepared to leave. Su Qingmei hurriedly said to Yang Luo, stop talking. Then, she looked at Shenyun and said apologetically, President Shun, I apologize for what Yang Luo said. I hope you won't take it to heart. Oomph. Xinyan snorted and looked at her watch again. You still have 7 minutes. You? Yang Luo was about to flare up when Su Qingmei hurriedly shook her head at him. He tried his best to suppress the anger in his heart and turned to look out of the window, too lazy to bother with this woman. Su Qingmei took a deep breath and said with a smile, President Shun, I invited you out today to ask you for a favor. What favor? Xinyan crossed her arms and asked calmly. Su Qingmei said, I want to ask President Shun to tell the bosses in the Chamber of Commerce not to cancel the cooperation with our Hua Mei Biomedical for the time being. Xinyan said expressionlessly, President Su, I don't have the power to influence the thoughts of the bosses. Moreover, you should know the current situation of your company. Your products can't be sold anymore. If everyone continues to cooperate with your company, there would be no benefit other than losing money. Therefore, it's normal for them to choose to terminate their cooperation with your company and turn to Dingsheng Biomedical. Su Qingmei hurriedly said, President Shun, our company is taking the time to develop a new product. In less than half a month, the new product would be on the market. Once our new product goes on the market, the sales will definitely be very popular, enough to compete with Dingsheng Biomedical. Therefore, President Shun, please tell the bosses. Are you asking me to paint an illusion for everyone? Xinyan's expression darkened. No, that's not the case. Su Qingmei shook her head repeatedly. I'm telling the truth. Xinyan said coldly. Before your company's new product is produced, everything you say is just an illusion. Su Qingmei pursed her lips and begged. President Shun, I only need the bosses to give me half a month. In half a month, our company will definitely be able to revive and regain the market. As she spoke, Su Qingmei took out an exquisite gift box from her bag and placed it in front of Xinyan. President Shun, I know you like jade products. This is a Hatian jade bracelet I prepared for you. It's a small token. I hope you can accept it. Xinyan didn't even look at the box. Instead, she said coldly, President Su, I can't help you with this. Take the gift back. All right, 10 minutes are up. I still have something on, so I won't accompany you. With that, Xinyan stood up and left. However, after walking out of the private room, Xinyan answered a call and left the cafe in a hurry. After Xinyan left, the private room fell silent. Su Qingmei sat there in a daze, the rims of her eyes red. Pa! Yang Luo suddenly slapped the table and said angrily, What is this farce? As he spoke, he turned to look at Su Qingmei and comforted her. President Su, it's all right. There's no need to affect your mood for such a person. When our new product goes on the market, we'll slap their faces hard. At that time, even if they beg to cooperate with us, we won't cooperate with them. Su Qingmei turned to look at Yang Luo and choked. Yang Luo, can our company really be revived? Can we really see a brand new future? Yes, we definitely can. Yang Luo nodded heavily and said, All right, Qingmei, don't be sad. Let's not think too much now. Let's hurry up and develop a new product. Yes. Su Qingmei sniffed and placed the gift box in her bag. She stood up and said, Yang Luo, let's go back to the company. All right. Yang Luo nodded and left the cafe with Su Qingmei. At the same time, at the Jiang City Central Hospital, outside the operating theater, a square-faced, middle-aged man with a medium build and short hair paced back and forth outside the door with an anxious expression. This middle-aged man was Ren Penghui, the top figure of the Industry and Commerce Department. The person accompanying him was the director of the City Center Hospital, Tang Dexin. Tang Dexin was also very anxious at this moment. Not long ago, Ren Penghui's daughter had a serious car accident on her way home from school and was sent to the hospital. As the director of the hospital in the city center, he rushed over after knowing about this and arranged for the doctor to operate on Ren Penghui's daughter. However, half an hour had passed, and there was still no news from the operating theater, so he was very anxious. Ren Penghui was also his friend. If anything happened to his daughter, he really could not give an answer to Ren Penghui. But there was nothing he could do now except wait. Old Tang, my daughter will be fine, right? Ren Penghui looked at Tang Dexin with a hopeful expression. Tang Dasheen could only comfort him. Old Run, don't worry. I've already sent the best doctor in our hospital to save little Meng. She will definitely be safe. Ren Pingwei hissed. Nothing must happen to little Meng. I only have this one daughter. Tang Dasheen could only reassure him. It's all right. It's definitely all turn out well. Pengwei, what happened to little Meng? At this moment, a figure hurriedly ran over from afar. It was Shunyun. Ren Pinghui choked, as he explained. Little Meng got into a car accident on her way home from school. She's being resuscitated in the operating theater. Upon hearing this news, Shun Yun's body swayed violently, and she almost fell to the ground. Ren Pingwei quickly went forward to support Shin Yun and said, Xiao Yun, Old Tang said that little Meng will be fine. Shin Yun was agitated. She punched Ren Pinghui's chest fiercely and cried. How did little Meng get into a car accident? How did this happen? Ren Pinghui felt as though his heart was being torn out, as well as he exclaimed, Little Yun, calm down. Calm down? How can I calm down? Little Meng is only 8 years old. Shin Yun grabbed her hair and broke down. Tears streamed down her face. Seeing his wife cry, tears welled up in Ren Pinghui's eyes. Tang Dasheen stood at the side and did not know how to persuade her. He could only sigh deeply. At this moment, the door of the operating theater opened. An attending doctor walked out. Is the patient's family here? Yes, yes. Ren Pinghui and Shun Yun hurriedly ran over. Tang Dasheen also followed and hurriedly said, Dr. Zhang, tell me, how's the situation? Tell me, how's my daughter? Shin Yun also asked loudly. That's right, tell me quickly. Ren Pinghui also said anxiously. Dr. Zhang looked at Ren Pinghui and said, Director Ren, your daughter's condition is not good now. It's very likely that her life is in danger. Please be mentally prepared. As he spoke, he took out a notice of critical illness and a pen. He handed it to Ren Pinghui and said, Director Ren, please sign this. Notice of critical illness? Seeing the form in Dr. Zhang's hand, Shun Yun screamed and collapsed to the ground. Ren Pinghui was also stunned. His entire body was trembling, and he did not take the notice that was offered to him for a long time. Tang Dasheen frowned and said, Dr. Zhang, is the situation really that serious? Dr. Zhang nodded and said, Yes, Director Tang. I'm afraid the situation will be even more serious than we imagined. After all, the patient was too young. There were many comminuted fractures on her body, and her organs were severely damaged. As such, stop talking, stop talking. Shin stood up as if she had gone crazy. She grabbed Dr. Zhang's hand and said, Doctor, please save my daughter. As long as you can save my daughter, I don't mind how much money you want. Ma'am, this isn't about money. Dr. Zhang sighed and said, Hurry up and sign it. Sign it now and perform the surgery quickly. Your daughter might still have a chance of survival. Tang Dasheen urged Ren Pinghui, Old Run, sign it. Trembling, Ren Pinghui took the notice and pen and signed his name. Dr. Zhang took back the notice of critical illness and walked into the operating theater, closing the door. Old Tang, can my daughter survive? Ren Pinghui's eyes were filled with tears as he asked in a trembling voice. Tang Dasheen didn't answer and just sighed deeply. Now that even the critical illness notice had been issued, it meant that the situation was very serious. The probability of the patient surviving was probably less than 30%. Seeing that Tang Dasheen was silent, Ren Pinghui could not hold back the tears in his eyes anymore. Shin Yun sat on the ground and cried uncontrollably, Little Meng, don't die. If you die, how can mommy live? Tang Dasheen was silent for a moment before saying, Old Ren, I suddenly thought of someone. Perhaps he can cure little Meng. Who? Who can cure little Meng? Ren Pinghui stared at Tang Dasheen with excitement in his eyes. Shin Yun also stopped crying and looked at Tang Dasheen. Tang Dasheen said, The doctor I'm talking about is a Chinese doctor. Chinese doctor? Ren Pinghui was stunned. Can Chinese medicine do surgery? Shin Yun also frowned and said, Although Chinese medicine can treat some illnesses, it is useless in such a large-scale surgery. Tang Dasheen said, Please listen to me. The Chinese doctor I'm talking about is very powerful. His medical skills are very impressive. He's a true divine doctor. Not long ago, old Master Su was bedridden and on the verge of death. He had been treated by that divine doctor. Moreover, even divine Dr. Huang Tian praised that divine doctor's medical skills are extraordinary. He even begged to acknowledge that divine doctor as his master. The divine doctor he was talking about was Yang Luo. Hearing Tang Dexin's words, Ren Penghui and Shun Yun were stunned. Huang Tian's name was well known. He was the #1 divine doctor in Jiang City and had cured countless patients. Since even divine Dr. Huang said that the divine doctor's medical skills were superb, perhaps that divine doctor was really very powerful. After all, they had also heard that old Master Su had been cured by the mysterious divine doctor. Tang Dexin continued, although I'm not sure if that divine doctor can cure little Meng. As long as there's hope, we have to give a try, right? Ren Penghui hurriedly said, Old Tang, where is that divine doctor now? I'll go invite him. I'll call that divine doctor first and ask where he is. After saying that, Tang Dexin took out his phone and made a call. After the call, Tang Dexin said, Old Run, that divine doctor said that he's at Hua Mei Biomedical now. Really? Ren Penghui's face lit up. Old Tang, accompany me. Let's go and invite that divine doctor together. All right. Tang Dexin nodded in agreement. Little Yin, wait here. We'll be back soon. Ren Penghui instructed Shun Yun and left in a hurry with Tang Dexin. However, Shun Yun was puzzled. Hua Mei Biomedical? Why was that divine doctor at Hua Mei Biomedical? After all, she had just met the president of Hua Mei Biomedical, Su Qingmei, not long ago. At this moment, inside Hua Mei Biomedical, in the president's office, seeing that Yang Luo had hung up, Su Qingmei asked in confusion, Yang Luo, who called you just now? Yang Luo said, It's Director Tang from the City Center Hospital. He wants to ask me to treat a patient. Oh, Su Qingmei nodded and said, Yang Luo, Director Tang has always wanted to invite you to be a doctor at the City Center Hospital. He even said that he wanted you to be the vice director. Are you really not tempted at all? Yang Luo shook his head and said, Although I'm a doctor, I can't stand the rules of the hospital. So, if you want me to go to the hospital to work as a doctor, forget it. You're truly an anomaly. Su Qingmei shook her head helplessly and asked, By the way, is Director Tang coming over to invite you? Yeah. Yang Luo nodded. Su Qingmei said, Since Director Tang has come to invite you, you should help him. After all, when my grandfather was hospitalized, Director Tang also helped us a lot. Yang Luo shrugged and said, That guy's not bad. I'll help him if I can. After waiting for about 20 minutes. Knock, knock, knock. There came a series of urgent knocks on the door. Hearing it, Su Qingmei replied, Please come in. The door was pushed open, and Tang Dexin and Ren Penghui rushed in. As soon as he entered, Tang Dexin rushed towards Yang Luo and panted, Divine Dr. Yang, please assist us. Yang Luo sat on the sofa and took a sip of tea. He calmly spoke out, Tell me what happened. This is the director of the Jiang City Industry and Commerce Department. Tang Dexin introduced Ren Penghui and said, Not long ago, his daughter was in a serious car accident and is now in the hospital for emergency treatment. However, he had already received a notice of critical illness. His daughter's condition was very dangerous now, and it was very likely that she can't be saved. Therefore, we would like Divine Dr. Yang to extend your assistance. Ren Penghui sized up Yang Luo and felt that he was really too young. If Tang Dexin hadn't patted his chest and promised that Yang Luo's medical skills were superb, he definitely would not have believed him. Director Run, your daughter was in a car accident. Are you all right? Su Qingmei also walked over. Ren Penghui sighed and said, My daughter's situation is very dangerous now. Otherwise, I wouldn't have invited Divine Dr. Yang. President Su, do you know this person? Yang Luo glanced at Ren Pingwei. As for this guy's identity, he did not take it seriously. Yes, I do. Su Qingmei nodded and said, Director Ren is President Shun's husband. Hearing this, Yang Luo's expression instantly turned cold. He looked up at Tang Dexin and said, President Tang, if it's anyone else, I'm willing to treat them. But you want me to treat this person's daughter? I'm not willing. Huh? Tang Dexin was stunned. Divine Dr. Yang, why? Ren Pinghui was also puzzled. He frowned and said, Divine Dr. Yang, I don't think I've offended you, right? Yang Luo said, You didn't offend me, but your wife offended President Su, so I'm unwilling. Ren Pinghui asked, Divine Dr. Yang, what exactly is going on? Yang Luo did not hide anything and told Ren Pinghui what had happened at the Blue Bridge Cafe not long ago. After hearing Yang Luo's words, Ren Pinghui bowed to Yang Luo and said, Divine Dr. Yang, my wife has indeed gone overboard. I apologize to you on her behalf. Yang Luo said coldly, You're you. Your wife is your wife. What's the point of apologizing? Also, even if you want to apologize, you should apologize to President Su, not me. Su Qingmei said, Yang Luo, this is a matter of life and death. Don't mind these things. Hurry up and go to the hospital. Although she was very happy that Yang Luo stood up for her, she could tell the severity of the matter. She did not want Yang Luo to delay the rescue because of this matter. Tang Dexin also said, That's right, Mr. Yang. Hurry up and go to the hospital with me. Old Ren's daughter is still waiting for your treatment. I'll get President Shun to apologize to President Su later. Although he also felt that Shun Yun had gone overboard, now was not the time to be calculative. Yang Luo was completely unmoved. He merely said, What does his daughter's life have to do with me? If you want me to make a move, fine. I'll get that woman to apologize to President Su immediately. Otherwise, don't even think about asking me for help. Yang Luo had always been a person who distinguished between gratitude and grudges. If people respected him, he would respect them tenfold. However, Xinyan had really angered him today. That woman was too arrogant and rude. Tang Dexin turned to look at Ren Pinghui. Old Run, this. Ren Pinghui took a deep breath and said, I'll call little Yun over now. As he spoke, Ren Pinghui took out his phone and called Xinyan. Not long after, Xinyan hurried in. Pinghui, what's wrong? Why do you have to ask me to come over? Ren Pinghui said in a deep voice, Xiao Yun, did you offend President Su and Divine Dr. Yang? Divine Dr. Yang? Xinyan was stunned. Which Divine Dr. Yang? President Shun. He's Divine Dr. Yang. Tang Dexin pointed at Yang Luo. Huh? Xinyan's expression froze. Isn't he President Su's assistant? How did he become a doctor now? Yang Luo sneered in response. Who said that assistants can't be doctors? Xinyan frowned and looked at Tang Dexin. Director Tang, are you mistaken? Tang Dexin shook his head and said, There's no mistake. He's the divine doctor who cured old Master Su. Xinyan commented, Director Tang, I still don't think this kid is reliable. Let's go and invite divine Dr. Huang. Ren Pinghui also felt that Yang Luo was unreliable, but he didn't say it directly. Instead, he said, Old Tang, please call divine Dr. Huang and ask him if there's any way. Okay, I'll make the call now. Tang Xin nodded and called Huang Tian. The phone rang for a while before it was picked up. Tang Xin put on speaker. Director Tang, what's the matter? Huang Tian's voice sounded. Tang Dexin said, Divine Dr. Huang, one have a patient here who wants you to treat him. Huang Tian said, Oh, what patient? Tell me about the illness. 1. Tang Dexin didn't hesitate and told Huang Tian about little Meng's situation truthfully. After hearing Tang Dexin's words, Huang Tian pondered for a moment and said, Dean Tang, if I make a move, I might be able to save that little girl's life. However, it's probably impossible for me to completely cure her. Moreover, even if she survived, that little girl would probably be bettered for life in the future. However, if my master, Yang Luo, makes a move, he should have a high chance of completely curing that little girl. In an instant, the office fell silent. Rin Pinghui and Shunyan looked at their cell phones in a daze before turning to look at Yang Luo. They did not believe Yang Luo just now, but now that they heard Huang Tian say it with their own ears, they had no choice but to believe him. Huang Tian was the #1 divine doctor in Jiang City. He naturally wouldn't spout nonsense. Dean Tang, I'm studying the acupuncture technique my master taught me. I won't talk to you anymore. Go and invite my master, *1. With that, Huang Tian hung up. Rin Pinghui also came back to his senses. Now, he could only ask this young man to take action. He shouted at Shun Yun, Xiao Yun, ever since you became the president of the Heroes' Chamber of Commerce, you've become more and more arrogant and rude. There are many times when even I can't stand it anymore. I knew that something would happen one day. Divine Dr. Yang had also said just now that if you don't apologize to President Su, you wouldn't lift a finger to save Little Ming. What are you waiting for? Apologize to President Su. Shun Yun's body trembled, and she no longer had the arrogance and rudeness from before. She hurriedly bowed to Su Qingmei. President Su, I apologize for my arrogance and rudeness today. I'm sorry. Please persuade Divine Dr. Yang to help save my daughter. Su Qingmei sighed and said to Yang Luo, help President Shun. President Shun knows has reflected on herself. All right, President Su, for your sake, 1 foot 11 inches help them. Yang Luo put down his teacup and stood up. He said to Tang Bixin and the others, what are you waiting for? Let's go. All right. Divine Dr. Yang, please. Tang Dexin made an inviting gesture. Soon, Yang Luo left the company with Tang Dexin and the others and went straight to the hospital in the city center. The car sped all the way and arrived at the hospital in less than 20 minutes this time. After arriving at the hospital, Yang Luo and the others hurriedly took the elevator to the 3rd floor and walked towards the operating theater. When Yang Luo and the others rushed to the operating theater, the door of the operating theater happened to open. Dr. Zhang walked out. Dr. Zhang, how's the situation? Tang Dexin immediately asked. Dr. Zhang, is my daughter all right? Rin Pinghui also asked. Dr. Zhang sighed. He looked at Rin Pinghui and Shun Yun and said, I'm sorry. Your daughter's heartbeat has stopped. She no longer has any vital signs. 11. No. Impossible. This is impossible. You're lying to me, right? How can my daughter die? No. FL. Rin Pinghui and Shun Yun shook their heads vigorously and completely broke down. Tears streamed down their faces. However, Yang Luo frowned and walked straight to the operating theater. Hey, who are you? Unrelated personnel can't enter the operating theater. Dr. Zhang hurriedly went forward to stop him. Tang Xin immediately interrupted. Dr. Zhang, he's Divine Dr. Yang who cured old Master Su. Let Divine Dr. Yang go in and take a look. 11. Oh my God, he's that Divine Doctor? Dr. Zhang was shocked. Why is he so young? 11. Previously, when Yang Luo cured old Master Su, he was not present, but instead at the hospitals in other provinces and cities to further his study. So he did not know Yang Luo. Dr. Zhang commented, but he's already dead. Even the Divine Doctor can't save him. Yang Luo said, this is just your judgment, not mine. Let's go in and let Divine Dr. Yang take a look. Tang Xin said and followed Yang Luo into the operating theater. Dr. Zhang followed him in. The door of the operating theater closed again. Penghui, can our daughters still live? Shun Yun asked with a trembling voice. Rin Pinghui gritted his teeth and said, Divine Dr. Yang is Divine Dr. Huang's master. With Divine Dr. Yang around, there might be hope. Although he said that, he no longer had any hope in his heart. After all, the doctor had already declared his daughter dead. After Yang Luo entered the operating theater, he saw a little girl covered in blood lying on the operating table. She was no longer breathing. Moreover, according to the various instruments, the little girl no longer had any vital signs. Director Tang, who is this kid? What is he doing in the operating theater? The doctors who did not know Yang Luo asked in surprise. Divine Dr. Yang, why are you here? Unfortunately, this child is already dead. It's useless even if you come. A doctor who knew Yang Luo said. Yang Luo walked forward and checked the little girl's pulse. He immediately said, she's not dead yet. What? He's not dead. How is that possible? Asterisk. That's right. This child's heart has stopped. How could she not be dead? The doctors present exclaimed one after another, clearly not believing it. Yang Luo did not say anything else. He took out a box of silver needles and placed it on the table. Then he waved his right hand. Swish, 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 swish. 9 silver needles of different lengths and thicknesses flew out of the box. Then, one after another, they flickered with a dazzling silver light and pierced into the acupuncture points on the little girl's body. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The 9 silver needles pierced into 9 acupuncture points at the same time and trembled gently. Therefore, because the little girl's current situation was very critical, Yang Luo used the 9 needles of heavenly Tao at once. Moreover, as the silver needles pierced through, the little girl's body actually stopped bleeding. Seeing this scene, all the doctors present were stunned. Just 9 silver needles were enough to stop the bleeding. Of course, the doctors present only saw the surface. Yang Luo stabbed 9 silver needles not only to stop the bleeding, but also to repair the little girl's damaged organs. However, in order to speed up the treatment, Yang Luo mobilized the true qi in his body. He stretched out his hands and placed them on the little girl's chest, continuously injecting true qi. As true qi flowed in continuously, the little girl's organs began to repair at an accelerated speed. And in less than half an hour, beep, suddenly, the equipment in the operating theater rang. This clear voice entered the ears of all the doctors. They all looked at the electrocardiogram and were instantly dumbfounded. They stood there like wooden stakes. The ECG, which was originally in a straight line, started to leap once again. Furthermore, the heart rate also began to rise continuously. 10, 20, 30, until the heart rate reached the level of a normal person. How is this possible? This child's heart is beating again. A doctor could not suppress the excitement in his heart and exclaimed. The other doctors also opened their mouths wide and were speechless for a long time. Tang Dexin clenched his fists excitedly. Indeed, inviting Divine Dr. Yang over was the wisest choice. The dead could actually be revived. Yang Luo ignored everyone. His eyes flickered with a faint golden light as he swept across the little girl's body like a laser radar. Through her skin, he could clearly see every broken meridian and every bone in the little girl's body. Therefore, he directly used another ultimate technique of the immortal Dr. Classics, the tendon-changing bone-forging hand, and began to piece together the little girl's broken meridians and bones. As he circulated his true qi, a dazzling golden light flickered in the palms of Yang Luo's hands. This scene left everyone in shock. Could this young man be a deity in disguise? However, they were very puzzled and did not know what Yang Luo was doing. However, when they saw Yang Luo's focused expression, they did not dare to disturb him. Instead, they quietly watched the scene in front of them. Seconds ticked by. Soon, another half an hour passed. Phew! Yang Luo let out a long sigh and wiped the sweat off his forehead. All right, she's finally saved. As soon as he finished speaking, the little girl who was lying unconscious on the operating table actually opened her eyes. However, the little girl was still a little stunned and did not know what was going on. What? She's awake. This child is actually awake. Oh my God, she's alive. This child is really alive. A miraculous resurrection. Divine Doctor. A true divine doctor. The doctors shouted in surprise. They were so excited that their eyes turned red. Having witnessed it once, Tang Dexin suppressed his excitement and hurriedly said, hurry up and check the child's body. A few doctors hurriedly checked the little girl's body. A few minutes later, Director, this child's physical index has returned to normal. Not only that, but this child's broken meridians, damaged organs, and bones have also been repaired. Amazing, this is really amazing. Traditional Chinese medicine can actually perform surgery. A few doctors exclaimed and looked at Yang Luo with shock and reverence. They had never seen a Chinese medicine doctor with such extraordinary medical skills. Not to mention Chinese medicine, even Western medicine could not compare. Which doctor could save a dead person in such a short period of time? Other than this young man in front of him, probably no one else could do it. Miracle. Tang Dexin patted Yang Luo's shoulder excitedly. Divine Dr. Yang, you've created a miracle in the history of medicine. However, Yang Luo's expression was calm, as if he had done something extremely ordinary. He put away the silver needles and turned to walk out of the operating theater. Seeing his actions, Tang Dexin hurriedly followed. At this moment, outside the operating theater, Ren Pinghui and Shun Yun were waiting anxiously. Although they were not confident and felt that their daughter could not be saved, they still held onto a trace of hope. They were hoping that a miracle would happen. At this moment, the door of the operating theater was pushed open. Yang Luo and Tang Dexin walked out one after another. Old Tang, Divine Dr. Yang, how's my daughter? Ren Pinghui and Shun Yun hurriedly ran over. Their hands were clenched tightly, and their faces were filled with anxiety and uneasiness. However, Tang Dexin deliberately kept her in suspense and pretended to drag his words out. This. Seeing Tang Dexin's expression, the two of them trembled and their hearts sank to the bottom. Ren Pinghui hissed, Old Tang, just say it. We're already mentally prepared. Xinyan also choked and said, Director Tang, my daughter, she is alive. Before Xinyan could finish speaking, Tang Dexin spat out two words. She's alive. I knew it. Xinyan muttered sadly, but she quickly reacted and looked at Tang Dexin in disbelief. Director Tang, what did you just say? You said that my daughter is alive. Ren Pinghui also stared at Tang Dexin, his lips trembling. Old Tang, are you joking? Tang Dexin laughed out loud. Old Run, how could I joke about this? I'm telling the truth. Little Meng was really saved by Divine Dr. Yang. Really? Ren Pinghui and Shun Yun stared at Tang Dexin in disbelief. Of course it's true. Tang Dexin nodded and said, To be honest, if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it either. However, the truth was that Divine Dr. Yang had really saved Little Meng and healed all her injuries. In other words, after Little Meng is discharged from the hospital, she can still live life like a normal person. Before he could finish speaking, the door of the operating theater opened again. A few doctors pushed the bed out. The person lying on the bed was precisely Ren Meng. Little Meng, Ren Pinghui and Shun Yun hurriedly ran over. Ren Meng opened her big eyes and said, Daddy, Mommy, I had a long, long dream just now. Little Meng thought I would never see Daddy and Mommy again. Little Meng, boo-hoo. Ren Pinghui and Shun Yun hugged Ren Meng tightly and cried bitterly. Seeing this scene, Tang Dexin and the other doctors couldn't help but tear up. Soon, Ren Pinghui pulled Shun Yun over and knelt in front of Yang Luo. Divine Dr. Yang, thank you for saving my daughter. I will remember your kindness. From now on, your matters are my matters. Divine Dr. Yang, thank you for saving my daughter. Divine Dr. Yang, I really know my mistake. I shouldn't have been so arrogant. I shouldn't have been rude to you and President Su. I won't do it again. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Yang Luo sighed softly and reached out to help Ren Pinghui and Xinyan up. He said, Mr. Run, President Shun, there's no need to keep thanking me. Little Meng is so cute. I naturally can't let anything happen to her. Little Meng, quickly thank Big Brother. Ren Pinghui said to Ren Meng. Ren Meng smiled sweetly and thanked him. Thank you, Big Brother. Yang Luo smiled and patted the little girl's head. No need to thank me. Little Meng is so obedient. Then, the doctor pushed Ren Meng away to be warded. Ren Pinghui and Xinyan did not follow her. Instead, Xinyan took out a bank card from her bag and handed it to Yang Luo. Divine Dr. Yang, there's 10 million yuan in this card. The password is 6 6s. Although it's not much money, it's a token of our appreciation. I hope you can accept it. Besides, you need not worry about the business aspect. I'll definitely help President Su talk to the bosses of the Chamber of Commerce and ask them to try their best not to cancel their cooperation with Hua Mei Biomedical. Yes, yes, yes. Divine Dr. Yang, quickly accept it. Don't decline. Rin Pinghui took the bank card from Xunyan and stuffed it into Yang Luo's hand. All right, I'll accept it then. Yang Luo smiled and nodded before putting away his bank card. Divine Dr. Yang, have you considered what I told you last time? At this moment, Tang Dexin walked over. What is it regarding? Yang Luo was stunned and could not process what the other party meant. Tang Dexin rubbed his hands and said with a smile, "It's about coming to our hospital to be the deputy director." Well, Yang Luo looked helpless and said, "President Tang, let's forget about this matter. I really don't want to be a doctor in the hospital." Tang Dexin was still indignant and said, "Divine Dr. Yang, why don't we do this? You don't have to come to our hospital to work. You just have to hold the position of the honorary deputy director. Your annual salary is 10 million. What do you think? Then what do I need to do?" Yang Luo asked in curiosity. Tang Dexin said, "If our hospital encounters trouble in the future, you just have to help." Rin Pinghui persuaded, "Divine Dr. Yang, on account of old Tang's sincerity, please agree." Yang Luo thought for a moment. Since he only needed to hold a position and not work, he could just provide help occasionally when needed. Thinking of this, Yang Luo nodded and said, "All right, I agree. Thank you, Divine Dr. Yang." Tang Dexin was extremely gratified and hurriedly said, "Divine Dr. Yang, I'll draft the contract in 2 days. When the time comes, I'll personally deliver it to you." "Sure." Yang Luo nodded. Rin Pinghui said, "Divine Dr. Yang, I wanted to treat you to a meal to show my gratitude, but little Ming has just recovered, so we have to stay and accompany her." "I'm really sorry." Yang Luo said, "Go accompany little Ming. There are plenty of opportunities to eat." "Thank you for your understanding, Divine Dr. Yang." Rin Pinghui nodded. After that, Yang Luo chatted with Tang Dexin and Rin Pinghui for a while before leaving the hospital. When he walked out of the hospital, he saw that the sky had completely darkened. At this moment, Su Qingmei called. Yang Luo picked up the call. "Yang Luo, how's the situation?" As soon as the call was picked up, Su Qingmei's voice sounded. "Don't worry, I've completely cured that little girl." Yang Luo replied and said, "By the way, President Shun said that she will help you talk to the bosses of the Heroes Chamber of Commerce as much as possible and ask them not to terminate their contract with Hua Mei Biomedical." "That's good." Su Qingmei heaved a sigh of relief and said, "Yang Luo, you've helped me a lot again." "Thank you. You're my fiancé. Shouldn't I help you?" "There's no need to thank me." Yang Luo smiled faintly and asked, "By the way, are you still in the company?" "Yes, but I'm preparing to go home." "You should go straight home too." "All right," Yang Luo responded and hung up. After putting away his cell phone, Yang Luo hailed a taxi and went straight to Imperial River Court. After leaving the hospital and passing through a few main streets, the car drove to a relatively crowded street. However, just as the car reached the corner of the intersection, suddenly, a black Land Rover rushed out from the corner and blocked the way. Swoosh! The taxi driver was shocked and hurriedly stepped on the brakes. The car slid for more than 10 meters before stopping. Moreover, 3 black Land Rovers drove over from behind and stopped behind the taxi. A total of 4 Land Rovers had surrounded the taxi. What happened? What's going on? The taxi driver was stunned and did not understand what was going on. Yang Luo also narrowed his eyes slightly. It seemed that the people in the car were coming for him. However, He did not know if it was an enemy or a friend. Soon, the doors of the 4 Land Rovers opened. 8 slim young women in black ladies' suits with ponytails got out of the car and walked toward the taxi. These 8 women had cold eyes and exuded a murderous aura. Clearly, they were not ordinary people. Seeing these women's gazes, the taxi driver trembled and broke out in cold sweat. What's wrong with these women? Why do they look like they want to kill me? I've always been honest and obedient. I don't think I've offended anyone, right? Yang Luo said, Brother, this has nothing to do with you. They're here for me. Huh? The taxi driver was stunned. When did you offend these women? Brother, I advise you to call the police quickly. There's no need. Anyway, you don't have to be afraid. This has nothing to do with you. Yang Luo replied, took out his phone, paid the fare, and got out of the car. Seeing Yang Luo get out of the car, the 8 women immediately walked over. One of the leading women sized up Yang Luo and asked coldly, Are you Yang Luo? That's right. Yang Luo nodded and said with a smile, May I ask why you're looking for me so late at night? Could it be that you want to talk to me about life? Seeing Yang Luo's frivolous gaze, the 8 women frowned slightly. They wanted to flare up, but they endured it. After all, the president had instructed him to invite this kid over. The leading woman said, Mr. Yang, our president wants to talk to you. Please come with us. President? Yang Luo looked puzzled. Who's your president? The leading woman replied coldly. West Wind Chamber of Commerce, Zhong Lingyun. Oh, so it's the president of the West Wind Chamber of Commerce. Yang Luo nodded in realization and said, What does your president want to talk to me about? Could it be that he had also set up an ambush, treacherous plot, like Jiang Tianlong, and wants to kill me? If that's really the case, forget it. I'm not interested in playing with your president. The leading woman said, Mr. Yang isn't even afraid of Master Long. Why would he be afraid of meeting our president? Besides, if the president really wants to kill you, why did he ask us to invite you? Yang Luo raised his eyebrows and suddenly asked, Is your president beautiful? Hearing this question, the leader was stunned. The other 7 women also looked puzzled, not knowing what Yang Luo meant by asking this question. The leader said patiently, Of course our president is very beautiful. In that case, I'll go with you. Yang Luo nodded and said with a smile, Rather than meeting those burly fellows, it's not bad to meet your beautiful president. The real reason why he agreed was that he wanted to meet the president of the West Wind Chamber of Commerce and asked her when he could get King Jinan to see him. Please. The woman in the lead gestured for him to enter. Soon, Yang Luo got into the car and left with the 8 women. It was not until the 4 Land Rovers left that the taxi driver heaved a sigh of relief and muttered, Who are these women? They really scare me to death. The car drove slowly on the road. Meanwhile, Yang Luo sat in the back seat and closed his eyes to take a nap. The leader of the group, who was sitting in the front passenger seat, looked at Yang Luo with surprise in her eyes. Wasn't this kid too calm? If it were an ordinary person, they would definitely be extremely nervous after knowing that they were going to see the president. How could they be so calm? No wonder Master Long said that he had to get rid of this kid. This kid was so young, but he already had the strength to defeat Master Long. His composure was really not simple. If they didn't get rid of this kid, he might really become a threat to the 4 major chambers of commerce in Jiang City. The journey was silent. The car drove for nearly an hour before they finally arrived at the entrance of a clubhouse in the Western District. This clubhouse was luxuriously decorated and was called the Starry Night Clubhouse. The attendants inside were all women, and all of them were wearing high-cut cheongsams. Their legs were slender, straight, and fair. They were very pleasing to the eye. After getting out of the car, Yang Luo followed the leader woman into the clubhouse, and the other 7 women followed behind. Along the way, everyone who entered and left the clubhouse looked over, as if they were very curious about Yang Luo. After all, Yang Luo's face was very unfamiliar. They had never seen him before. After passing through a long corridor, they arrived at a spacious and bright hall. On both sides of the hall stood more than 20 cold-looking women in black women's suits. At the front of the hall, 2 doors were tightly shut. The leading woman walked to the door and said respectfully, "President, Mr. Yang is here. Let him in." A pleasant voice came from inside. "Mr. Yang, please." The woman in the lead gestured for him to enter and pushed open a door. After Yang Luo walked in, the door was closed tight. As soon as he entered, Yang Luo saw a swimming pool that occupied a large area. A young woman in a black bikini was swimming in the pool. Amidst the splashing water, one could see the woman's smooth and fair skin and gentle figure. Moreover, Yang Luo could also sense that this woman was a martial warrior with a mid-stage Khanate realm cultivation. Yang Luo narrowed his eyes slightly. It seemed that this woman should be the president of the West Wind Chamber of Commerce, Zhong Lingyun. Soon, Zhong Lingyun swam to the shore and left the swimming pool. She strode towards Yang Luo with her long, snow-white legs. Walking in front of Yang Luo, the woman took off her swimming cap. Her long black hair scattered down, and she put on a bathrobe. Yang Luo also saw the woman's appearance clearly. The woman had an oval face. Although her facial features were not especially exquisite, they were also very good-looking. She could be considered a beauty. In particular, there was a heroic and murderous aura in the woman's eyes. Clearly, it was not something ordinary women could compare to. Therefore, this woman was the president of the West Wind Chamber of Commerce, Zhong Lingyun, nicknamed Bamboo Green. TL note: Bamboo Green is the name given to Trimeresurus albolabris, a type of poisonous snake. "You're Yang Luo?" Zhong Lingyun sized up Yang Luo with curiosity in her eyes. "I'm Yang Luo." Yang Luo nodded. "Mr. Yang, you look even younger than in the photo." Zhong Lingyun narrowed her eyes and said, "I didn't expect you to have such strength at such a young age. To think you can actually defeat the 5 heavenly kings of the Eastern Alliance and Jiang Tianlong at your age. You're really not simple." Hence, before inviting Yang Luo here, she had already investigated his identity. However, she could only find out about Yang Luo's situation after coming to Jiang City. As for what Yang Luo had done in the past and his family background, she could not find out anything. Hence, this made her even more curious about Yang Luo. Yang Luo said indifferently, "The 5 heavenly kings and Jiang Tianlong of the Eastern Alliance are nothing to me." Zhong Lingyun chuckled and raised her hand. "Mr. Yang, please sit." As she spoke, she sat on the recliner beside her and lit a lady's cigarette. Yang Luo also sat down. Zhong Lingyun exhaled a mouthful of smoke and said, "Mr. Yang, you should know who I am, right?" Yang Luo smiled. "The president of the West Wind Chamber of Commerce, Zhong Lingyun." "That's right." Zhong Lingyun nodded and asked, "Then do you know why I invited you here?" Yang Luo shrugged and said, "Is it to kill me?" Zhong Lingyun shook her head and said, "Jiang Tianlong has already told me and the other 2 presidents what you did at the Dragon Bay Manor previously. He wants to join forces with us to eliminate you. However, I want to give you a chance, Mr. Yang." "Chance?" Yang Luo raised his eyebrows. "What chance?" Zhong Lingyun said, "The opportunity to join our West Wind Chamber of Commerce." "Join your West Wind Chamber of Commerce?" Yang Luo was stunned. He clearly did not expect this woman to still want to rope him in. "That's right." Zhong Lingyun nodded and said, "I admire your courage and strength, Mr. Yang, so I want to invite you to join our West Wind Chamber of Commerce. If you're willing, I can save your life. For my sake, Jiang Tianlong and the others won't make things difficult for you anymore." Yang Luo shook his head and said, "Forget it then. I've never thought of being someone's underling. Mr. Yang, don't be in a hurry to refuse." Zhong Lingyun picked up a walkie-talkie on the table and said, "Come in." A few minutes later, the door was pushed open. A woman in a black suit led 5 women in bikinis over. The 5 women had different skin colors. There were Asians, whites, and Hispanics. Moreover, each of these 5 women was very beautiful and had hot figures. Yang Luo looked puzzled at the sight. "President Zhong, what do you mean by this?" Zhong Lingyun simply smiled and said, "Mr. Yang, as long as you're willing to join our West Wind Chamber of Commerce, these 5 women are yours." Yang Luo was speechless. She actually wanted to try and use a woman to seduce her? No matter how beautiful these 5 women were, they were far inferior to Su Qingmei, Su Wanxiu, and Qin Yimo. Yang Luo shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, President Zhong. I'm not interested in these 5 women." "Really?" Zhong Lingyun smiled and picked up the walkie-talkie again. Soon, 4 women in black suits walked in with 4 large black leather boxes. After arriving in front of Zhong Lingyun, the 4 women in black suits opened 4 black leather boxes. There were stacks of green US dollars inside that were exceptionally eye-catching. The 5 hot women stared fixedly at the leather box, unable to look away. Zhong Lingyun pointed at the 4 leather boxes and said, "Mr. Yang, as long as you're willing to join our West Wind Chamber of Commerce, this money is yours as well." Yang Luo shook his head again. "I'm not interested in these things." Zhong Lingyun frowned this time, before picking up the walkie-talkie again. Soon, another woman in a black suit walked in with a black leather box. After walking up to Zhong Lingyun, the woman in the black suit opened the black leather box. In the box were a set of keys to the villa and several car keys. There were Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Land Rovers, Mercedes-Benzes, and BMWs. Zhong Lingyun pointed at the leather box and the 5 women and said, "Mr. Yang, as long as you join our West Wind Chamber of Commerce, these cars, houses, and beauties will be yours." As far as she was concerned, no man could refuse a house, a car, or a beauty. However, Yang Luo still shook his head and said, "President Zhong, although you know how to conduct yourself better than Jiang Tianlong. However, I'm sorry, I really have no intention of joining any Chamber of Commerce." "Mr. Yang, are you sure you don't want to reconsider?" Zhong Lingyun was still a little indignant. Although the 4 chambers of commerce were all working for King Jinan, there was still competition between them. After knowing that Yang Luo was powerful, the first thing she thought of was to rope him in. As long as Yang Luo agreed to join the West Wind Chamber of Commerce, she would obtain a capable general. There's no need to think about it. Yang Luo shook his head. Hearing Yang Luo's reply, a hint of anger appeared on Zhong Lingyun's face. She had already shown enough sincerity, but she did not expect this kid to still refuse. This made her feel as though he was not respecting her. She stared at Yang Luo coldly and said, "If you reject me today, you'll die the next time our 4 chambers of commerce join forces to deal with you." Yang Luo's expression also turned cold. He met Zhong Lingyun's gaze and said in a low voice, "Are you threatening me?" Zhong Lingyun stubbed out her cigarette and said, "I'm not threatening you. I'm just telling the truth. You offended Jiang Tianlong and injured many people in the Eastern Alliance. This is already a capital offense. Moreover, you even said arrogantly that you wanted King Jinan to submit to you. This is basically adding oil into fire. Now, only our West Wind Chamber of Commerce can protect you. Even the Su family can't protect you." Hearing this, Yang Luo immediately smiled. "What are you smiling at?" Zhong Lingyun frowned. Yang Luo stopped smiling and stared at Zhong Lingyun. He said in a steely voice, President Zhong, let me tell you, I've never been afraid of your four chambers of commerce, and I've never thought of letting others protect me. That's because I don't need it at all. Zhong Lingyun said in a low voice, Mr. Yang, I know you're quite skilled. However, as the saying goes, two fists cannot defeat four hands. Our four chambers of commerce have sent out all their experts. Do you think you still have any hope of survival? The four chambers of commerce have joined forces? All their experts. Yang Luo narrowed his eyes and smiled. In my eyes, these so-called experts under your four chambers of commerce are all useless. As soon as these words were spoken, the women in black suits present were instantly furious. Arrogant. This kid was too arrogant. He actually said that all the experts of the four major chambers of commerce were useless. This was simply unbearable. Zhong Lingyun was so infuriated that her chest heaved up and down, and a wisp of killing intent appeared in her eyes. Yang Luo ignored their anger and stood up. President Zhong, it's getting late. I won't chat with you anymore. I advise you not to provoke me again. Hurry up and get King Jinan to see me. That's the best solution. With that, Yang Luo prepared to leave. However, Yang Luo had just taken a few steps when Zhong Lingyun's voice sounded from behind. Kid, do you think you can come and go as you please? As she spoke, Zhong Lingyun waved her hand. Attack. With this order, the 6 women in black suits present moved at the same time and rushed towards Yang Luo. Moreover, more than 10 women in black suits rushed in. Half of these women in black suits were martial warriors with extraordinary strength. Even if the remaining half were not martial warriors, they were all martial artists. Yang Luo sighed and shook his head. I really don't want to hit a woman, but why are you forcing me? Right after he finished his sentence, immediately, 4 women in black suits rushed up and punched at Yang Luo at the same time, attacking the fatal parts of his body. These 4 women in black suits cooperated very well. They could attack or retreat. Ordinary people might not be able to withstand them at all. Unfortunately, they met Yang Luo. The moment the 4 women in black suits attacked, Yang Luo did not dodge or move to avoid them. He tilted his body slightly, causing the attacks of the 4 of them to miss. Then he stretched out his hands and grabbed the wrists of the 2 women in black suits in the air. Then he exerted strength in his arms and swung them violently. Bang! 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 With a series of collision sounds, the 4 women in black suits flew out like sandbags and fell into the pool at the same time. Just as the 4 women in black suits fell into the pool, the remaining women in black suits had already rushed over and attacked Yang Luo. The fist force whistled, the palm force was like the wind, and the leg force tore through the air. Strong wind swept out. Yang Luo's figure flashed and turned into an afterimage. He flashed through the crowd like a ghost. He turned his hands into palms and kept slapping out. With every palm strike, several women in black suits were sent flying. This scene left the women in black suits in shock. They realized that in front of Yang Luo, they had no way to retaliate at all. Moreover, no matter how ferocious their attacks were, they could not touch Yang Luo at all. In less than a few seconds, more than 20 women in black suits were sent flying by Yang Luo and fell into the pool. Right at this moment, Zhong Lingyun's figure moved, and she rushed towards Yang Luo as well. She flipped her wrist, and a snake-shaped dagger with a green glow appeared in her hand. It really looked like a bamboo green snake from afar. And as she approached Yang Luo, Zhong Lingyun waved her right hand and stabbed the dagger in her hand at Yang Luo's throat. However, just as the dagger was about 20 centimeters away from Yang Luo's throat, it suddenly stopped. Yang Luo had casually raised his right hand and used his index and middle fingers to clamp the dagger, preventing it from moving forward any further. After clamping the dagger, Yang Luo exerted strength in his right hand. Swoosh! Zhong Lingyun felt a sharp pain in her wrist, and the dagger in her hand flew out her hand. With a thud, it was nailed to a wall far away. Her pupils constricted, and she immediately changed her move. She clenched her left hand into a fist and punched towards Yang Luo's chest. How suited to your namesake. You're really vicious. Yang Luo teased her. Then he raised his right hand and grabbed Zhong Lingyun's wrist, preventing her from breaking free. D****. Zhong Lingyun shouted and exerted strength from her waist and abdomen. Her long, straight, and fair legs instantly streaked across the sky and kicked towards Yang Luo's waist. Too slow, Yang Luo said indifferently. Then he raised his left hand and grabbed Zhong Lingyun's right ankle. Then Yang Luo took a step forward and moved into Zhong Lingyun's space. As Zhong Lingyun was only wearing a bathrobe on the outside and a bikini on the inside, Yang Luo could clearly feel the softness of the woman's body. "Let go of me," Zhong Lingyun blushed and roared. "Get going." Yang Luo did not let go of Zhong Lingyun. Instead, he exerted strength in his arms and threw her towards the swimming pool in the distance. "Ard!" Zhong Lingyun screamed and fell heavily into the pool with a plop. Water splashed everywhere, and Zhong Lingyun involuntarily swallowed a few mouths of water. Yang Luo clapped his hands and teased, "President Zhong, your figure is really good, as expected of someone who practices martial arts. All right, I won't play with you anymore. Bye." With that, Yang Luo strode out. "Bastard, I'll definitely kill you." Zhong Lingyun screamed at Yang Luo. Yang Luo waved his hand without looking back and said, "Hurry up and call King Jinan to see me. You guys can't beat me. Stop that guy. We must kill him." The other women in black suits roared and were about to chase after him. "Wait," Zhong Lingyun hurriedly called out to everyone. "President, what's wrong? Are we going to let that kid go?" The women in black suits spoke one after another. Zhong Lingyun let out a long breath and said, "You're not that kid's match at all. If you chase after him now and anger him, I'm afraid none of you will survive. We can't just let it go like this. This kid is too arrogant." A woman in a black suit said hatefully, "Naturally, I won't let it go just like that." Zhong Lingyun gritted her teeth and said, "If we want to kill this kid, we have to join forces with the other 3 chambers of commerce." Yes, all the women in black suits nodded heavily. As long as the 4 chambers of commerce issued a killing order at the same time, no matter how strong this kid was, he would only die. It was around midnight. Imperial River Court Villa No. 8. After confirming that Su Qingmei, Qin Yimo, and Wu Yu were asleep, Yang Luo quietly came to the courtyard. Now that he had gathered all the herbs, he planned to refine the spirit-gathering pill tonight and break through to the next realm. After walking to the courtyard, Yang Luo sat down cross-legged and took out a rusty bronze cauldron the size of a basketball from his storage ring. This small cauldron was given to him by that old fart. However, when he was learning alchemy from that old fart, because this small cauldron had exploded thousands of times, it was already broken beyond repair. Its body was covered in cracks. He wondered if this tiny cauldron could last until he finished refining the spirit-gathering pill. Forget it. Whether he could give it a try or not, he would think about it later. Thinking of this, Yang Luo gently threw the small cauldron in his hand and shot out a stream of true qi to support the small cauldron, making it float in midair. Then, Yang Luo crushed all the herbs he had gathered and threw them into the small cauldron. After throwing the herbs into the small cauldron, Yang Luo waved his right hand. The dewdrops on the flowers and trees in the courtyard gathered and seemed to transform into a clear spring that flowed into the small cauldron. Because there was no spiritual spring in the vicinity, Yang Luo planned to replace it with dew. Dew is also known as rootless water. It was very suitable for brewing medicine and refining pills. After the cauldron was half filled with dew, Yang Luo set up an array formation in the courtyard to soundproof it. Then he raised his hands at the same time and continuously mobilized the true qi in his body, turning it into golden true fire. He began to burn the small cauldron and refine the spirit-gathering pill. As the flames continued to increase, the temperature in the entire courtyard began to gradually rise. This was also the reason why Yang Luo came to the courtyard to refine pills. If he refined pills at home, it would be very easy to burn down the house. Time continued to flow. It lasted till 2 or 3 in the morning. Suddenly, bam! The small cauldron that was originally floating in the air suddenly exploded, turning into a large number of fragments that flew in all directions. F***CK. The furnace exploded again. Could it have failed? The corners of Yang Luo's mouth twitched as he quickly retracted his true chi flames. However, just as the small cauldron exploded, a few black and uneven medicinal pills fell. Yang Luo hurriedly picked it up and counted. There were a total of 8 spirit-gathering pills. Although their appearance not look good, it was a real spirit-gathering pill. Phew! Yang Luo heaved a sigh of relief and muttered, "I've finally succeeded in refining it." Unfortunately, the small cauldron can't be used anymore. It seemed that he had to find a new pill cauldron. Otherwise, he would not be able to refine other pills in the future. Then, Yang Luo put away the small cauldron fragments scattered everywhere and sat cross-legged once again. He took a medicinal pill and began to cultivate. The pill melted in his mouth, and the medicinal effects spread to Yang Luo's internal organs, 8 extraordinary meridians and limbs. Yang Luo immediately felt his entire body burning as abundant spiritual energy flowed through his body. Moreover, the spiritual energy between heaven and earth also gathered from all directions and surged into Yang Luo's body continuously. A faint golden dragon phantom coiled around his body, illuminating the entire courtyard and dyeing it golden. After an unknown period of time, a muffled bang sounded in Yang Luo's dantian. The golden dragon phantom that coiled around his body also became slightly more solid. Yang Luo suddenly opened his eyes, and a hint of joy appeared on his face. He had finally broken through. His cultivation level had advanced from a mid-foundation establishment stage to the late foundation establishment stage. He wanted to see if he could take this opportunity to step into the great circle of foundation establishment. Thinking of this, Yang Luo took another pill and began to cultivate. The night passed, and dawn arrived in the blink of an eye. It was not until the sun shone down that Yang Luo slowly opened his eyes. A helpless expression appeared on Yang Luo's face. After his cultivation reached the late-stage foundation establishment realm, he could no longer break through. Even if he took the spirit-gathering pill, it would not work. It seemed that it was still too difficult for him to break through 2 small realms in a row. Yang Luo shook his head, then got up and walked into the villa to start making breakfast. After breakfast was ready, Su Qingmei, Qin Yimo, and Wu Yu came downstairs. During breakfast, Su Qingmei said, "Hey, there seemed to be movement in the courtyard last night. Did you guys hear it? As there had been a lot of work at the company recently, she had some insomnia, so she slept late last night." When Yang Luo entered the courtyard, she did hear a little movement, but she didn't hear anything after that. "No." Qin Yimo and Wu Yu shook their heads. Yang Luo laughed and said, "Maybe it's the commotion caused by the wild cat." "Possibly." Su Qingmei nodded and did not think too much about it. After breakfast, Yang Luo helped Qin Yimo perform acupuncture again before driving Su Qingmei to the company. However, on the way to the company, someone called Su Qingmei's phone. After answering the call, Su Qingmei's expression darkened. "Qingmei, what's wrong?" Yang Luo asked in confusion. Su Qingmei rubbed her eyebrows and said, "Su Yin called just now and said that Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company suddenly called to say that they wanted to cancel their cooperation with us. They even said that they would no longer provide our company with medicinal herbs in the future. We've been cooperating with Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company for several years. We've always been mutually beneficial and have a good relationship. However, I did not expect Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company to be so ruthless this time. They did not even give us any time to prepare. Now that our company is intensifying the development of new products, we can't do without medicinal herbs. Once the supply is stopped, the development of new products will definitely be delayed. Moreover, it will cause a lot of trouble for the subsequent product production. Yang Luo asked, "Is this Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company from the Heroes Chamber of Commerce?" "That's right." Su Qingmei nodded and said, "I knew President Kai from the Heroes Chamber of Commerce." "That's strange." Yang Luo frowned and said, "Didn't President Shun say that she would help us persuade the bosses of those companies?" Su Qingmei said, "While President Shun is willing to help persuade, and many bosses will show her some face, this doesn't mean that all the bosses will listen to President Shun. Moreover, President Shun has no right to interfere with the decisions of those bosses." Yang Luo said, "Since this Baolin Medicinal Herb Company wants to cut ties with us, can't we just find another medicinal herb company?" Su Qingmei said, "That's true, but the key is that no medicinal herb company is willing to cooperate with us anymore. Because in their opinion, our company no longer has any future. Of course, even if a medicinal herb company is willing to cooperate with us, we have to spend time negotiating. This will waste a lot of time." Yang Luo asked, "Then what should we do now?" Su Qingmei thought for a moment and said, "Let's go to Baolin Medicinal Herb Company directly to talk to President Kai now." "Fine." Yang Luo nodded and turned on the navigation system, heading straight for the Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company. Not long after, the car arrived at a 30-story office building in the city center called Huitong Building. After parking the car, Yang Luo followed Su Qingmei towards the Huitong Building. "How strong is this Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company?" Yang Luo asked in curiosity. "The Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company is very powerful in Jiang City. It's considered one of the largest medicinal herbs companies in Jiang City. It works with many pharmaceutical companies and hospitals." Su Qingmei replied and added, "Of course, in the beginning, the scale of the Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company was not big. The reason why the Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company can become stronger is all thanks to Director Tang's help." "Director Tang?" Yang Luo was stunned. "Which Director Tang?" Su Qingmei said, "Of course, it's Director Tang Dexin from the Central Hospital. The president of the Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company is Kai Donglai. His sister is Director Tang's wife. It's precisely because of this that Kai Donglai relied on Director Tang's connections and resources to allow the Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company to develop rapidly." "I see." Yang Luo nodded in realization and said, "In that case, I'll call Director Tang. As long as Director Tang is willing to speak up for us, I believe Kai Donglai won't dare to cancel the cooperation with our company." Su Qingmei said, "But if we ask Director Tang for help, I'll owe him a favor. I don't like to owe others a favor because it's really difficult to return a favor." Yang Luo smiled and said, "You don't have to return Director Tang's favor. I'll return it." Su Qingmei pursed her lips and said, "Let's talk to Kai Donglai first. If it really doesn't work, we'll get Director Tang to help." "All right." Yang Luo nodded. After entering the Huitong Building, Su Qingmei spoke to the front desk. Soon, Kai Donglai's assistant came down. Under the lead of the female assistant, Yang Luo and Su Qingmei took the elevator all the way to the 25th floor and arrived at the door of the president's office. The female assistant knocked on the door and said, "President Kai, President Su is here. Invite President Su in." A slightly hoarse male voice came from inside. He pushed open the door and walked in. He saw a middle-aged man in a white shirt with a big belly and a bald head sitting at his desk, reading documents. This middle-aged man was the president of the Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company, Kai Donglai. "I didn't expect President Su to come. Sorry for not coming out to welcome you." Kai Donglai put down the document and greeted them with a smile. Su Qingmei also smiled and said, "President Kai is a busy person. If it weren't for an urgent matter, I wouldn't have disturbed you." "Hey, I'm just busy with random matters, nothing too important." Kai Donglai chuckled, then looked at Yang Luo and asked, "This is?" Su Qingmei replied, "He's my assistant, Yang Luo." "Oh." Kai Donglai nodded and raised his hand. "President Su, Assistant Yang, please sit." As he spoke, Kai Donglai even asked his assistant to pour 2 cups of tea. After pouring the tea, the female assistant left the office. Kai Donglai sat on the sofa with his legs crossed. He lit a cigarette and asked, May I know why President Su is looking for me? Su Qingmei went straight to the point. President Kai, I won't beat around the bush with you. I just want to ask you, why did you suddenly cancel your cooperation with our company? Oh, you're talking about this. Kai Donglai flicked the cigarette ash and said, President Su, to be honest, I've considered this decision for many days. There's no choice. There are more and more companies working with our Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company now, so our demand for medicinal herbs was almost unable to keep up. That's why we want to cancel our cooperation with some companies to relieve the pressure. Then why did you choose us? Su Qingmei frowned. President Kai, we've been working together for 3 years and have never had any disputes. But why did you say that you would terminate the cooperation with us just like that? Why didn't you even talk to us about it? Well, Kai Donglai exhaled a long puff of smoke and put on a difficult expression. Su Qingmei said, President Kai, please tell me the truth. Sure. Kai Donglai stubbed out his cigarette and said, Since President Su wants to hear the truth, I'll tell you the truth. Right now, May Biomedical is getting worse by the day. There is no hope at all. It's only a matter of time before the company will go under. If we continue to cooperate with you, once your company goes bankrupt, it will affect our company greatly. So, in order to minimize the risk, I can only do this. President Su, please understand. Hearing Kai Donglai's words, Su Qingmei's expression turned even uglier. She frowned and said, President Kai, aren't you going a little too far? Our company is still fine now. How can it go bankrupt? Kai Donglai stubbed out his cigarette and said, Yes, your company is still fine now, but how long can you last under the suppression of Ding Sheng Biomedical? Su Qing said firmly, President Kai, please believe me. In less than half a month, our company will be revived. Oh, Kai Donglai narrowed his eyes and smiled. What right do you have to say that? Su Qingmei said, Now that our company is seizing the time to develop a new product, I'm confident that as long as the new product goes on the market, our company will definitely be able to regain the market. At that time, the sales of our products will definitely be very popular. At that time, our demand for medicinal herbs will also be greater. As long as President Kai continues to cooperate with our company, you will definitely earn a lot in the future. Kai Donglai shook his head and said, President Su, there's no need to say these meaningless words. If your May Biomedical could really compete with Ding Sheng Biomedical, you wouldn't be in such a miserable state, right? Which medicinal herb company do you think dares to cooperate with you now? Su Qingmei said, President Kai, please believe me. Half a month is enough. I think I'll pass. Kai Donglai waved his hand and said, President Su, I still have something on, so I won't keep you. Obviously, Kai Donglai was already impatient and directly ordered her to leave. Su Qingmei's expression turned cold. President Kai, we have a contract first. Even if we want to terminate the cooperation, we have to be given 3 months as a buffer. Now, you suddenly propose to cancel the cooperation. You have to pay the penalty for breaching the contract. Kai Donglai sneered and said, The penalty for breach of contract is nothing. I can give it to you now. How much was it again? It seemed to be 10 million yuan, right? I'll transfer it to you now. As he spoke, Kai Donglai prepared to call the finance department to transfer the money. In the past 2 days, President Jiang of Ding Sheng Biomedical had already told him that as long as he broke off his cooperation with May Biomedical, Ding Sheng Biomedical would give up another 10% of its profits to his company. Therefore, the 10 million yuan penalty was really nothing to him. Seeing that Kai Donglai was determined to terminate the cooperation, Su Qingmei immediately panicked. President Kai, even if you don't give President Su face You have to give your brother-in-law face, right? Yang Luo, who had been silent all this while, suddenly spoke out calmly. Seeing that the negotiation had failed, Yang Luo could only use Tang Dexin as a chip. My brother-in-law? Kai Donglai frowned when he heard those words. Are you very familiar with my brother-in-law? Yang Luo nodded and said, Of course. Your brother-in-law has asked me to do a lot of things. We're friends. We can't be more familiar. What a joke. Kai Donglai laughed mockingly. My brother-in-law is the director of the largest hospital in Jiang City. Why would he need your help? Who do you think you are? You're just a small assistant. How dare you say that you're very familiar with my brother-in-law? Yang Luo smiled faintly and said, Since you don't believe me, then let me give your brother-in-law a call. Kai Donglai immediately laughed and said, Go ahead and call now. If my brother-in-law really has a good relationship with you, I can consider not canceling the collaboration with your company. He did not believe that a small assistant could know his brother-in-law. Yang Luo smiled faintly and said, You said it yourself. I mean what I said. Kai Donglai sneered and said, Hurry up and stop wasting time. Yang Luo didn't say anything else and called Tang Dexin directly. The phone rang for a while before it was picked up. Yang Luo turned on the speaker. Divine Dr. Yang, I'm sorry. I was in a meeting. Why are you looking for me, sir? Tang Dexin's voice was very respectful. Hearing Tang Dexin's voice, Kai Donglai hurriedly sat up straight and looked at Yang Luo in surprise. He did not expect Yang Luo to really know his brother-in-law. Moreover, his brother-in-law seemed to be very respectful to this kid. In order to answer the call, he did not even care about the meeting and even addressed him as Sir. Yang Luo went straight to the point. Director Tang, I have something to trouble you with today. Tang Dexin smiled and said, Divine Dr. Yang, what trouble? Your matter is my matter. As long as I can do it, I will definitely do it. Director Tang, it's like this. Yang Luo did not hesitate and told Tang Dexin what had just happened. After hearing Yang Luo's words, Tang Dexin was instantly angry. Divine Dr. Yang, get that bastard Kai Donglai to answer the phone. Kai Donglai was so frightened that he broke out in cold sweat. He hurriedly called out, Brother-in-law, I'm here. Tang Dexin immediately raged. You bastard, don't think that you can be arrogant just because your company has grown big. How dare you look down on Divine Dr. Yang and President Su? If it weren't for my help, would you have gotten to where you are now? It's your honor to work with Divine Dr. Yang and Hua Mei Biomedical. In short, I don't care what reason you have. You're not allowed to terminate your cooperation with Hua Mei Biomedical. It was too late for him to curry favor with Yang Luo, so he naturally wouldn't allow Kai Donglai to ruin his relationship with Yang Luo. Why? Kai Donglai was very puzzled. There's no reason. Just do as I say. Tang Dexin replied angrily. Then his tone took a 180-degree change as he said, Divine Dr. Yang, if this guy dares to put on airs in front of you again, tell me. I'll definitely slaughter him. Sure. Yang Luo nodded and said, Director Tang, then continue the meeting. I won't disturb you anymore. It's fine. Tang Dexin laughed over the phone and continued. Oh, right, Divine Dr. Yang. I've already drafted the contract. When do you think I'll send it to you? Yang Luo said, I'll call you when I have time. All right, Tang Dexin responded. Then, Yang Luo and Tang Dexin chatted for a while more before hanging up. After hanging up, Yang Luo looked at Kai Donglai with a faint smile and said, President Kai, didn't you just say that as long as I have a good relationship with your brother-in-law, you would consider not canceling the collaboration with our company? Now look at this. Kai Donglai's face blossomed into a radiant smile as he said, Assistant Yang, since you know my brother-in-law, you should have said so earlier. This way, we wouldn't have been so unhappy just now. Yang Luo smirked. I just don't want to trouble Director Tang. Kai Donglai laughed. Since my brother-in-law has said so, our Baolan Medicinal Herbs Company's cooperation with Hua Mei Biomedical will continue. Hearing Kai Donglai's words, Su Qingmei was stunned. It was settled just like that? She looked at Yang Luo with a complicated expression. Although this guy had not been in Jiang City for long, he did not expect him to already have his own connections and resources. He had solved a problem that she could do nothing about with a phone call. Yang Luo said, President Kai, don't worry. In less than half a month, you'll know that what President Su said just now is true. Continuing to work with Hua, Mei Biomedical, is the wisest choice. In the future, your company will earn much more money than before. Kai Donglai could only laugh dryly. I hope so. The reason why he did not cancel the collaboration with Hua, Mei Biomedical, was entirely because of his brother-in-law. After all, everything he had now was thanks to his brother-in-law's help. As for what Yang Luo said, he naturally did not believe it. Yang Luo could naturally tell that Kai Donglai didn't believe him and was unhappy. It seemed like this guy would not sincerely cooperate with Hua, Mei Biomedical in the future unless he was given some benefits. Thinking of this, Yang Luo smiled faintly and said, President Kai, have you been feeling very weak and powerless for the past 2 years? Have you always ended it in less than 3 minutes? Hearing this, Kai Donglai was stunned for a moment before he reacted. How did you know? Of course I can tell. Yang Luo shrugged and said, Didn't you hear what her brother-in-law called me just now? Kai Dong thought about it and said, My brother-in-law called you divine. Dr. Yang, just now. Could it be that you're a doctor? That's right. Yang Luo nodded. Kai Donglai looked at Yang Luo with a burning gaze and said, Assistant Yang, since you can see my problem, can you treat it? Of course I can. Yang Luo smiled and said, It'll give you a prescription now. You just need to follow the instructions and take it for half a month. Your condition will get better. Moreover, your time in that regard can also be greatly extended. There are no side effects. How long more will it be extended? Kai Donglai suppressed the excitement in his heart and rubbed his hands. Yang Luo said conservatively, At least 20 minutes. What? 20 minutes? 1. Kai Donglai couldn't help but exclaim. He held Yang Luo's hand excitedly and said, Assistant Yang, oh no, Divine Dr. Yang, if you can really cure me of this illness and extend it for 20 minutes, you will be my Kai Donglai's foster parent. 1. LT had been 2 to 3 years since he had this problem. In the past 2 to 3 years, he had seen many doctors, but none of them could cure him. It was precisely because of this that he could not raise his head in front of his wife or lover. Now that he heard that someone could cure his illness and help him extend it for 20 minutes, how could he not be excited? After all, that ability was related to a man's dignity. At this moment, Su Qingmei, who was sitting at the side, looked puzzled, not knowing what the two of them were talking about. What was he talking about? 3 minutes? 20 minutes? However, she did not ask further. She planned to ask Yang Luo what was going on later. Yang Luo laughed dryly and pulled his hand away. President Kai, don't get too agitated. I'll help you write the prescription now. Okay. Kai Donglai nodded repeatedly and handed Yang Luo a pen and paper. Yang Luo picked up the pen, wrote down a prescription, and handed it to Kai Donglai. When Kai Donglai received the prescription, it was as if he had obtained a treasure. He said, Divine Dr. Yang, if you can really cure my illness, I will definitely thank you heavily. Yang Luo waved his hand and said, There's no need to thank me. If you want to thank someone, thank President Su. If President Su hadn't brought me here, one wouldn't have been able to help you. Of course. Kai Donglai nodded and said, President Su, if Divine Dr. Yang cures my illness, the profits of the herbs I supply to your company can be reduced by another 10%. Moreover, I promise you that as long as Hua Mei Biomedical is still alive, our Bullen Medicinal Herbs Company will never terminate our cooperation with you. Su Qingmei was stunned. President Kai, is what you said the truth? Of course it's true. Kai Donglai patted his chest. I, Kai Donglai, am a man of my word. Su Qingmei was very happy. Then thank you, President Kai. She did not expect that not only did she maintain her cooperation with the Baolin Medicinal Herbs Company today, but she also had a pleasant surprise. It seemed that as long as Yang Luo was around, everything would go smoothly. Kai Donglai waved his hand. You're welcome. You're welcome. If my illness is really cured, I'll be the one thanking you. After that, Yang Luo and Su Qingmei chatted with Kai Donglai for a while before leaving. On the way to the parking lot, Su Qingmei asked, Yang Luo, what do you mean by 3 minutes and 20 minutes? Also, what exactly is the prescription you wrote for President Kai? Why was President Kai so agitated? Yang Luo touched his nose and said, Qingmei, you better not ask about this. Su Qingmei placed her hands on her waist and said angrily, Speak. 1. Fine. Yang Luo smiled helplessly and whispered into Su Qingmei's ear. In an instant, Su Qingmei's face turned red all the way to her ears. Qingmei, one told you I didn't want to say it. You're the one who wanted to ask. After saying this, Yang Luo ran away. Stupid hooligan, I'll beat you to death. Su Qingmei shouted and chased after him. After returning to the company, Su Qingmei went to the office and continued to work. Meanwhile, Yang Luo went to the office next door. This office was the assistant's office. Previously, Su Yin was the only one working here. Now, because Yang Luo had also become an assistant, they had added an extra table and chairs to the office. Seeing Yang Luo enter, Su Yin hurriedly stood up and walked over. She asked, Assistant Yang, how's the matter? Yang Luo smiled and said, Don't worry, it's already settled. Unless our company really closes down, the Baolan Medicinal Herbs Company will not cancel our cooperation. Really? Su Yin was overjoyed. Assistant Yang quickly told me, how did you make President Kai change his mind? Yang Luo did not hide anything and told Su Yin what had happened at the Baolan Medicinal Herbs Company. Of course, Yang Luo only said that he could cure Kai Donglai's old illness and did not tell Su Yin what it was. After hearing Yang Luo's words, Su Yin couldn't help but sigh. One really admire President Su's taste. I really don't know where President Su recruited such a talent like you. Although you know nothing about business, you can do everything well. 1. Yang Luo raised his eyebrows and said, Assistant Su, are you praising me? Of course. Su Yin nodded repeatedly. Yang Luo smacked his lips and said, Are you sure you're not mocking me? Of course not. Su Yin shook her head repeatedly and said, I did look down on you when you first came, but after these few incidents, I admire your capabilities. I'm just joking. Don't get too agitated. Yang Luo laughed and said, Assistant Su, go ahead and do your work. Don't worry about me. As he spoke, Yang Luo sat in his seat and closed his eyes to rest. Of course, in Su Yan's opinion, Yang Luo was dozing off, but in fact, Yang Luo was cultivating. After an unknown period of time, Assistant Yang, Yang Luo slowly opened his eyes and saw Su Yin standing in front of him. Yang Luo asked in confusion, Assistant Su, what's the matter? Su Yin opened her mouth and shook her head. Forget it, it's nothing. Tell me, what is it? Yang Luo pressed. Su Yin took a few deep breaths and asked carefully, Assistant Yang, can you lend me 10,000 yuan? Borrow money? Yang Luo was stunned. He clearly didn't expect Su Yin to want to borrow money from him. Su Yin laughed dryly and said, Assistant Su, if you don't have enough money, forget it. Pretend I didn't say anything. As she spoke, Su Yin turned around and prepared to leave. Wait. Yang Luo quickly stopped Su Yin. Assistant Su, I didn't say that I wouldn't lend it to you. Previously, he had applied for a card and transferred all the consultation fees for this period of time to it. Therefore, the savings in his account had already exceeded 1 billion yuan. 10,000 yuan was not even a drop in the bucket for him. Su Yan's eyes shone when she heard his words. Are you really willing to lend it to me? Yang Luo nodded and said, We're colleagues and friends. Of course I'm willing to lend it to you, but I'm just curious. As President Su's assistant, your monthly salary shouldn't be low, right? Why can't you take out 10,000 yuan? Su Yin said with a bitter expression. I have my own difficulties. Yang Luo asked, what exactly happened? Can you tell me? This. Su Yin pursed her lips, but she was unwilling to say anything. Since you're unwilling to say more, I won't ask further. Yang Luo waved his hand and said, give me an account number. I'll transfer the money to you now. Okay. Su Yin nodded repeatedly and gave Yang Luo an account. Yang Luo quickly transferred 10,000 yuan to Su Yin. After receiving the transfer, Su Yin hurriedly said, Assistant Yang, I'll return the money to you immediately after my salary is paid this month. Don't be in such a hurry. This money is nothing to me. Yang Luo shook his head and said, Assistant Su, if you really have anything to say, just tell me. I'll definitely help you. After all, we're friends, aren't we? Yeah. Tears welled up in Su Yan's eyes as she nodded. Yang Luo smiled gently and said, All right, go ahead. In the evening, after almost everyone in the company got off work, Yang Luo walked towards the president's office. However, just as she reached the door of the president's office, the door was opened and Su Qingmei walked out with a bag. President Su, are you getting off work? Yang Luo asked in curiosity. Over the past few days, Su Qingmei had been working overtime almost every day. He did not expect her to get off work so early today. Su Qingmei seemed to be very happy and said, A university classmate called me just now and said that he wanted to treat me to a meal. Come with me. Sure. Yang Luo nodded in agreement. After arriving at the underground parking lot, the two of them got into the car. Yang Luo asked, By the way, Qingmei, where's your classmate treating you to a meal? Su Qingmei said, Cloud Peak Hotel. They've already booked a private room. We could just go over directly. Cloud Peak Hotel. Yang Luo had a strange expression. Isn't it your Su family's business? Why did your classmate book there? The Cloud Peak Hotel was one of the most luxurious five-star hotels in Jiang City. There was a branch in each of the 4 districts of Jiang City, and it was managed by Su Qingmei's father, Su Wenbin. Su Qingmei said, That classmate of mine doesn't know that I'm from the Su family. However, since she can treat me to a meal there, it seems like she has been doing well in the past few years. Oh, Yang Luo nodded in realization. Then, he started the car and went straight to the Cloud Peak Hotel. After arriving at the Cloud Peak Hotel and parking the car, Yang Luo followed Su Qingmei into the hotel. Just as Yang Luo and Su Qingmei walked into the hotel, the lobby manager, Lu Hongtao, who was busy in the hotel lobby, welcomed them warmly with a group of attendants. Miss, why are you here? He didn't dare to be disrespectful to Su Qingmei. After all, the entire hotel belonged to her. Su Qingmei said, My friend is treating me to a meal here. You don't have to worry about us. Go busy yourself. Do you need me to take you there? Lu Hongtao asked with a smile. There's no need. Su Qingmei shook her head and instructed, By the way, charge me for all the expenses in the private room tonight. Yes, eldest miss. Lu Hongtao nodded repeatedly. Then, Yang Luo and Su Qingmei arrived at the entrance of the Raindrop Pavilion's private room. The moment the door was pushed open, he saw a young man and woman sitting inside and chatting. The woman was wearing branded clothes and heavy makeup. She had a slender figure. Although she was not as good-looking as Su Qingmei, she could still be considered a beauty. The man was wearing a Versace casual outfit with short hair and a pair of silver-rimmed glasses. His face was fair, and he looked quite refined. Qingmei. Seeing Su Qingmei enter, the woman welcomed her with a smile. She opened her arms and hugged Su Qingmei heavily. Qingmei, long time no see. I missed you so much. Su Qingmei smiled and said, Mengjie, it's been so many years since we last met. You're really getting prettier. The woman said helplessly, Qingmei, you're mocking me again. You're the one who's getting more and more beautiful. In front of you, I can't even raise my head. Mengjie, is this your classmate? At this moment, the man walked over. Although the man hid it very well, his gaze would sweep across Su Qingmei's collar and legs from time to time. Yang Luo frowned slightly. It seemed like this guy was not a good person. That's right. The woman nodded and said, Hao Yang, let me give you an introduction. This was the #1 school belle in our university, Su Qingmei. Back then, we lived in the same dormitory and had a good relationship. As she spoke, the woman continued to introduce him to Su Qingmei. Qingmei, this is my boyfriend, Li Haoyang. Hello, Miss Su. Meng Jie told me just now that you're very beautiful, like a fairy. Now that I see you, you really live up to your reputation. Li Haoyang smiled and extended his hand, deliberately revealing the Rolex watch on his wrist. Nice to meet you. Su Qingmei smiled back and extended her hand. Although Li Haoyang's gaze made her feel uncomfortable, Li Haoyang was her classmate's boyfriend after all, so she couldn't say anything. Let's not just stand there. Let's quickly sit down and talk. The woman smiled and said to Yang Luo, Hey, that attendant, you can serve the dishes now. Seeing that Yang Luo was not moving, the woman frowned and said, Didn't you hear me? I said that the dishes can be served. Su Qingmei hurriedly said, Meng Jie, you've misunderstood. He's not an attendant here. His name is Yang Luo, and he's my fiancé. Ah, fiancé. The woman was stunned and said awkwardly, I'm sorry, Mr. Yang. I thought you were an attendant here. Li Haoyang narrowed his eyes slightly. Clearly, he did not expect a beauty like Su Qingmei to even have a fiancé. It's all right. Yang Luo shook his head, indicating that he didn't mind. Su Qingmei introduced her to Yang Luo. Yang Luo, this is my classmate, Zhao Mengjie. Nice to meet you. Yang Luo nodded in reply. After sitting down, Zhao Mengjie sized up Yang Luo. Seeing Yang Luo's ordinary clothes, thin figure, and ordinary appearance, a trace of disdain flashed across her eyes. However, she did not show it on her face. Instead, she asked Su Qingmei, Qingmei, what exactly is going on? When we contacted each other last year, you said that you wouldn't find a boyfriend so quickly. Why do you even have a fiancé now? Su Qingmei didn't explain further. Tians can't keep up with changes. I really didn't expect the #1 school belle of Capital University to be taken. If those guys who pursued you in the past knew about this, their hearts would probably break. Zhao Mengjie teased before looking at Yang Luo and asking, Mr. Yang, since you can get to hug such a beauty, you must have something extraordinary, right? May I ask what you do, Mr. Yang? Li Haoyang also turned his attention to Yang Luo. Yang Luo only said indifferently, I'm a doctor. Doctor? Zhao Mengjie looked at Yang Luo curiously and said, Mr. Yang, could it be that you're the attending doctor of a tertiary grade A hospital in Jiang City? Is it the People's Hospital or Rank Hospital? Or are you at the Central Hospital? Yang Luo shook his head and said, One don't work in these hospitals? He was telling the truth. Although he had agreed to be the honorary vice director of the Central Hospital, he had yet to sign a contract, so he was not considered yet a doctor of the Central Hospital. Zhao Mengjie nodded and said, That's true. It's indeed very difficult to enter a tertiary grade A hospital, but it's not bad to be able to enter an ordinary hospital. I don't work in general hospitals either. Yang Luo shook his head and added, To be precise, one don't work in any hospital. It's just that I would occasionally treat people. The enthusiasm on Zhao Mengjie's face instantly disappeared. She said teasingly, In other words, you're a barefoot doctor? TL note. Barefoot doctors are a term given to healthcare providers who had only undergone basic medical training before working in rural villages in China. I guess you could consider me someone like that. Yang Luo nodded in reply. Then may first ask which medical university Mr. Yang graduated from? At this moment, Li Haoyang asked with a smile. Yang Luo shook his head and said, I've never attended any medical university. Li Haoyang smiled dryly and said, Mr. Yang is indeed very unique. Zhao Mingjie looked at Su Qingmei and said earnestly, Qingmei, we're already adults. Choosing your other half can't just depend on your feelings. You still have to consider your own future. Look at our Haoyang. Although he's not particularly outstanding, he graduated from a famous overseas university, Harvard University. He studied clinical medicine and has already obtained a doctorate. In the past few years, our Haoyang had even published several papers on the International Medical Forum and received high recognition from the world medical world. The Jiang City Central Hospital has already sent an invitation to our Haoyang. They want to hire our Haoyang as the hospital's attending doctor with an annual salary of 2 million yuan. Li Haoyang coughed lightly and said, Mengjie, this matter hasn't been completely implemented. We still need to talk to the central hospital. Zhao Mengjie waved her hand and said, Haoyang, don't be humble. With your qualifications, this is definitely a sure bet. Li Haoyang only smiled and did not say anything. Instead, he looked at Su Qingmei and Yang Luo. He originally thought that Su Qingmei and Yang Luo would be very surprised and worship him when they found out that he had graduated from Harvard University and did a doctorate overseas. However, what puzzled him was that Su Qingmei and Yang Luo's expressions did not change at all. This made him a little unhappy. He felt that Su Qingmei and Yang Luo must be pretending. They had to be extremely shocked in their hearts. Zhao Mengjie smiled at Su Qingmei and asked, Qingmei, what do you think of our Haoyang? Su Qingmei nodded and said, Mr. Li is indeed very outstanding. Right? I also think our Haoyang is very outstanding. 1 foot. Zhao Mengjie said proudly. That's why I said, Qingmei, you have to be very careful when choosing your other half. With your qualifications, even if you don't want to find a man as outstanding as our Haoyang, you should at least find someone similar, right? Su Qingmei frowned slightly. She could naturally tell that Zhao Mengjie had been saying that her taste was bad and secretly belittling Yang Luo. She originally thought that Yang Luo would feel uncomfortable, but she realized that Yang Luo's expression was calm as if he did not care at all. Su Qingmei didn't explain further. Instead, she said, I think Yang Luo is not bad. Which part of him is good? Zhao Mengjie's voice increased a few octaves. This guy is a barefoot doctor. Moreover, he has no education, looks, money, and power. How can he be worthy of you? Su Qingmei said in a low voice, Mengjie, you can show off your boyfriend, but you can't use this to belittle my fiancé. This Zhao Mengjie sighed and said, Qingmei, don't be angry. What I said just now was for your own good. One just don't want you to suffer with this guy in the future. Su Qingmei said, Mengjie, you don't have to worry about this. Hurry up and get the attendant to serve the dishes. She felt that Zhao Mengjie was different from before. The current Zhao Mengjie had become too snobbish. Therefore, she just wanted to eat dinner and leave quickly. All right, serve the dishes then. Zhao Mengjie was about to press the call button, but at this moment, the door was pushed open. Lu Hongtao walked in with a smile and said, to the lobby manager here, I especially want to invite everyone to the River Gazing Pavilion private room for a meal. What? Go to the River Gazing Pavilion? Zhao Mengjie was shocked and said, Isn't the River Gazing Pavilion private room one of the top private rooms in the hotel? We didn't book the River Gazing Pavilion's private room. Lu Hongtao smiled and said, Because you're our most honored guests, we naturally have to arrange for you to eat in the River Gazing Pavilion's private room. Do we need to pay for the private room's booking? Zhao Mengjie gulped and asked. There's no need. Lu Hongtao shook his head. The reason why he did this was completely to perform well in front of Su Qingmei. Heavens! Zhao Mengjie was even more surprised. It said that the top private rooms in the Cloud Peak Hotel need to be reserved in advance. Moreover, just booking a top private room costs 200,000 yuan. I didn't expect us to be able to go to the top private room of the Cloud Peak Hotel for a meal today. That's too good, Lu Hongtao said. If no one has any objections, I'll bring everyone to the River Gazing Pavilion now. Okay. Zhao Mengjie was instantly excited and quickly walked out. Li Haoyang followed. Su Kingsai only glanced at Lu Hongtao and did not say anything. Instead, she walked out of the private room with Yang Luo. Lu Hongtao was overjoyed to see that Su Qingmei did not admonish him for his actions. It seemed that eldest misapproved of his actions. Then, he had to perform better. Soon, under Lu Hongtao's lead, Yang Luo, Su Qingmei, and the others arrived at the river gazing pavilion's private room. The moment they pushed open the door, Zhao Mengjie and Li Haoyang were stunned. The entire private room occupied an area of a few hundred square meters. The decoration was luxurious and grand, at least 10 times more high-end than the Raindrop Pavilion. Oh my God, I didn't expect to be able to eat in such a luxurious private room one day. Zhao Mingjie couldn't help but exclaim. She looked around the private room and even took out her phone to take photos and post them on her moments. Although Li Haoyang's expression was not that obvious, the shock in his eyes could not be concealed. He glanced at Yang Luo and Su Qingmei, wanting to see their expressions. However, Yang Luo and Su Qingmei's expressions still remained very calm and not too surprised. Li Haoyang sneered in his heart. These two were pretty good at pretending. Everyone, can we serve the dishes now? At this moment, Lu Hongtao asked. Okay. Hurry up and serve the dishes. Zhao Mengjie nodded repeatedly. Lu Hongtao glanced at Su Qingmei and left in a hurry. After Lu Hongtao left, Zhao Mengjie said in confusion, "That's strange. Why did the lobby manager of the Cloud Peak Hotel invite us to the River Gazing Pavilion's private room for a meal? Moreover, it was even Manager Lu that personally served us." As she spoke, she suddenly thought of something and looked at Li Haoyang. "Haoyang, could it be that you prepared a surprise for us? That must be it, right? You know Manager Lu, right?" Although Li Haoyang did not know what was going on, he definitely would not deny anything at this time. He smiled and nodded. "This is indeed a surprise I prepared. Since you want to invite your classmates to a meal, I naturally have to support you. So I contacted Manager Lu." "Darling, you're so kind." Zhao Mingjie hugged Li Haoyang's arm sweetly. Back in university, Su Qingmei was the school belle and was pursued by countless people. Even though she was her closest friend, she was very envious and jealous. Now, she had found an elite overseas returnee, but Su Qingmei had found a piece of trash to be her fiancé. She could be considered superior to Su Qingmei now. She felt very proud about it. Seeing Zhao Mengjie and Li Haoyang echoing each other, Yang Luo couldn't help but laugh. Hearing the laughter, Zhao Mengjie was instantly displeased. She frowned and said, "What are you laughing at?" Yang Luo ignored Zhao Mengjie and looked at Li Haoyang instead. "Mr. Li, do you really know Manager Lu? Is this really a surprise you prepared for us?" "Of course." Zhao Mengjie was instantly unhappy. "What do you mean? Are you suspecting my boyfriend? Let me tell you, if it weren't for my boyfriend, do you think Manager Lu would have let us come to the River Gazing Pavilion for a meal?" "All right, Mengjie, stop talking." Li Haoyang came out to smooth things over. "There's no point in talking to such a small fry." "True." Zhao Mengjie nodded and said to Yang Luo with disdain, "Mr. Yang, I'm afraid you only have this one chance in your life to eat in such a high-end hotel and such a luxurious private room. Treasure this opportunity well." Yang Luo nodded repeatedly. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Li." After sitting down, Zhao Mengjie and Li Haoyang pulled Su Qingmei to chat. As for Yang Luo, he was completely ignored. Yang Luo was also happy to be free. In any case, he was just accompanying Su Qingmei for a meal. He would leave after dinner. But at this moment, a call came to his phone. He picked up his phone and realized that it was Tang Dexin. So he picked up the call. "Divine Dr. Yang, do you have time now? I'll send the contract to you." Tang Dexin's voice sounded. He only wanted Yang Luo to sign the contract as soon as possible to prevent Yang Luo from going back on his word if it dragged on for too long. Yang Luo said, "All right, come to the River Gazing Pavilion at the Cloud Peak Hotel to look for me." "All right, I'll be right there." Tang Dexin responded and hurriedly hung up. Yang Luo, who called? Su Qingmei asked curiously. Oh, it's Director Tang. Yang Luo simply replied. Director Tang? You sound like a big shot. Mr. Yang, which Director Tang are you talking about? Zhao Mingjie asked sarcastically. Yang Luo said calmly. The director of Jiang City Central Hospital, Tang Dexin. Why is Director Tang looking for you? Su Qingmei asked. Yang Luo replied. Director Tang wants to invite me to be the honorary vice director of the Central Hospital. He said that he wants to send me the contract now. When Zhao Mingjie heard that, she immediately laughed. Mr. Yang, it's fine if you're not capable, but there's no need to lie, right? What kind of person is Director Tang of the Central Hospital? Why would he call you and invite you to be the vice director of the hospital? You're just a barefoot doctor. How can you be qualified to be the vice director of the Central Hospital? Are you kidding me? Li Haoyang also mocked. Even I have never seen Director Tang before. I've only seen his photo. Don't tell me you're trying to save face and find an actor to act with you. Yang Luo shrugged helplessly and said, You can choose to believe it or not. Nowadays, even if one spoke the truth, nobody would believe it anymore. Zhao Mingjie looked down on Yang Luo even more and simply ignored him from that point on. Not long after, attendants walked in with exquisite dishes. Looking at the dishes being served, Zhao Mingjie and Li Haoyang were dazzled. Most importantly, these dishes were not ordered by them. Zhao Mingjie asked in confusion, Why are these dishes different from what we ordered? A female attendant smiled and said, Madam, these dishes are our hotel's signature dishes. Manager Liu said that he would treat everyone to them for free. Really? Zhao Mingjie's eyes lit up. Please thank Manager Liu. At this moment, Liu Hongtao walked in with a bottle of red wine and a cigarette. He smiled and said, This bottle of 78 Romance Connie is the hotel's treasured red wine. Also, this True Dragon brand cigarette is specially used to entertain VIPs. Please enjoy it. After putting down the red wine and cigarettes, Liu Hongtao left the private room. Zhao Mingjie gulped and said, This red wine and cigarettes should be very expensive, right? Li Haoyang took a deep breath and said, It's not very expensive. It's extremely expensive. A bottle of Romance Connie from 1978 cost more than 200,000 yuan, and even if you had money, you might not be able to buy it. A True Dragon brand cigarette costs at least a few thousand yuan per stick. So expensive? Zhao Mingjie was dumbfounded. She looked at Li Haoyang in a daze and said excitedly, Darling, you and Manager Liu should be very good friends, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't have given us the red wine and cigarettes specially used by the hotel. Li Haoyang sighed and said, Old Liu is too polite. I owe him another favor. It's fine, it's fine. Zhao Mingjie waved her hand and said, After you enter the Central Hospital in the future, you can return Manager Liu's favor when you have the chance in the future. That's the only way, I guess. Li Haoyang nodded. All right, let's not talk anymore. Let's eat. Li Haoyang assumed the role of the host and raised his hand to invite everyone to eat. Yang Luo naturally wouldn't stand on ceremony. It was already so late and he was already hungry. Seeing Yang Luo eating and drinking, the disdain in Zhao Mingjie and Li Haoyang's eyes intensified. Halfway through, Li Haoyang brought the True Dragon brand cigarette in front of him and lit it up. He had no intention of giving it to Yang Luo at all. He planned to take away all the good cigarettes and not leave a single one for Yang Luo. Knock, knock, knock. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Please come in, Li Haoyang said. The door was pushed open. Tang Dexin, who was sweating profusely and panting, walked in with a contract. Zhao Mengjie shouted arrogantly. Hey, who are you? Did you go to the wrong place? Get clear. This is the River Gazing Pavilion's private room. Not everyone can enter. Tang Dexin wiped the sweat off his forehead and said in confusion, Did I go the wrong way? I don't think so. Director Tang, you're here. Yang Luo smiled at Tang Dexin. Divine Dr. Yang, the hospital is quite far from here. I'm sorry to be late. Tang Dexin walked over with a smile and handed the contract and pen to Yang Luo. Divine Dr. Yang, this is the employment contract. Just sign it. Mr. Yang, is this the actor you found? His acting is really quite good. It would be a pity if he didn't get an Oscar. Zhao Mengjie sneered. Divine Dr. Yang, this is... Tang Dexin frowned and asked. If not for the fact that this woman was eating with Yang Luo, he would have lost his temper. She's king-size classmate. Yang Luo replied, then picked up a pen and signed the contract. Zhao Mengjie said in amusement, Are you guys really addicted to acting? Shut up. Li Haoyang, who had been silent all this while, suddenly roared at Zhao Mengjie. When Tang Dexin came in just now, he felt that he looked familiar, so he quietly opened the official website of the Central Hospital to take a look. Only then did he realize that the middle-aged man in front of him was really the director of the Central Hospital, Tang Dexin. Zhao Mengjie said with an aggrieved expression, Darling, why are you shouting at me? I didn't say anything wrong. I told you to shut up. Li Haoyang roared again and hurriedly walked up. He handed a cigarette to Tang Dexin and bowed. Hello, Director Tang. Tang Dexin didn't take the cigarette. Instead, he asked in confusion, Who are you? Li Haoyang said, Director Tang, my name is Li Haoyang. I graduated from Harvard University and studied clinical medicine. I just obtained my doctorate. A few days ago, the Human Resources Department of the Central Hospital sent me an invitation. They said that they wanted me to interview for the position of attending doctor. Hearing Li Haoyang's words, Zhao Mengjie was stunned. This middle-aged man was really the director of the Central Hospital. Oh, Tang Dexin nodded and said, The Human Resources Department is in charge of this matter. I'm not too sure about such things. As he spoke, he looked at Yang Luo and said, Divine Dr. Yang, is this your friend? Since he's your friend, there's no need for an interview. I'll inform the Human Resources Department now and let him directly enter the hospital to take up a position. Yang Luo shook his head and said, I'm not familiar with him. Let's do what we have to do. All right then. Tang Dexin nodded and extended his hand to Yang Luo. Divine Dr. Yang, from today onwards, you're the honorary vice director of our Central Hospital. Your annual salary is 10 million yuan. I hope you can guide me in the future. I'm not worthy of giving you guidance. Yang Luo also reached out to shake Tang Dexin's hand. Mr. Yang, then I won't disturb your meal. Tang Dexin smiled and nodded at Su Qingmei before leaving the private room. After Tang Dexin left, the entire private room fell silent. Zhao Mengjie and Li Haoyang both looked at Yang Luo in a daze, their eyes filled with disbelief. No matter how unwilling they were to believe it, the truth was right in front of them, so they had no choice but to believe it. This guy actually knew the director of the Central Hospital, Tang Dexin. Moreover, Director Tang actually personally came to deliver the contract and hired this guy to be the vice director of the Central Hospital. Most importantly, Director Tang even offered a high salary of 10 million yuan a year. Unbelievable. This was too unbelievable. Their faces hurt from the figurative slap. After being stunned for a while, Zhao Mengjie took a deep breath and said to Su Qingmei unhappily, Qingmei, isn't your fiancé too heartless? He only needed to say one word and Haoyang would be able to directly enter the Central Hospital of Jiang City to work. But why didn't he speak up for Haoyang? He even said that he wasn't familiar with Haoyang. How could he do this? Su Qingmei said indifferently, Mengjie, you and Mr. Li mocked and belittled Yang Luo just now. Now, you want Yang Luo to speak up for Director Tang. Do you think that's possible? Zhao Mengjie was instantly enraged when she heard the former's words. Qingmei, we're old classmates. Your fiancé didn't even help with such a small favor. He's clearly not giving you face. Su Qingmei said, I don't think Yang Luo did anything wrong. You? Have you forgotten about our relationship? Zhao Mingjie was so angry that her chest heaved up and down. She said angrily, "Then when we're doing well in the future, don't come and ask for our help." Li Haoyang snorted and said, "Mengjie, forget it. Even if I don't rely on him, I can still successfully enter the central hospital to work. Darling, I believe in your ability." Zhao Mengjie replied, then glanced at Yang Luo and said, "Isn't it just a vice director position? What's there to be arrogant about?" After Hao Yang enters the central hospital, there will be many opportunities for him to meet big shots in the future. Right after she finished her sentence, the door of the private room was pushed open again. Lu Hongtao walked in again, followed by two middle-aged men. Yang Luo recognized one of them. It was Ren Pingwei. The other middle-aged man was wearing a white shirt and had short hair. His temples were a little gray, and there were traces of time on his face. "Mr. Ren, why are you here?" Yang Luo asked in confusion. "Divine Dr. Yang, I heard from Manager Lu that you were eating here just now, so I thought of coming over to take a look." Ren Pinghui replied, then teased, "If I had known that you were eating here, I would have come to freeload." "Who are you? Why should I let you freeload? What right do you have to eat here? This is the top private room of the Cloud Peak Hotel, the River Gazing Pavilion." "That's right. Hurry up and get out." Zhao Mengjie and Li Haoyang were already furious, so they subconsciously shouted out. Ren Pinghui was left stunned by their words. Yang Luo, Su Qingmei, Lu Hongtao, and the middle-aged man were also shocked speechless. A moment later, Lu Hongtao broke the silence with a deep voice. "Madam, let me introduce you. This is Mr. Ren Pinghui, the director of the Jiang City Industry and Commerce Department." After introducing Ren Pinghui, Lu Hongtao introduced the silent middle-aged man. "This is Luo Zhongyue, Governor Luo from the Jiangnan province. Do you think these two have the qualifications to eat in our hotel's top private room?"